Some may find the following disturbing. Discretion is advised.
What follows is strictly for adults. Put your children out of harm's way. You see, the following 5 gentlemen are clearly not PG. In fact, an R rating would stand for rude. Let's meet them now.
He's originally from the land of Lincoln, Illinois. Then he moved to Georgia, and then he moved to Florida. How much farther south can this man go? Cuba? There's no doubt this man is lucky Ronald Reagan is not alive because he would be calling him a communist. But don't worry, he's no Castro comrade. He's the president of the Bears Country podcast, the lead host of their signature show. Now he's one of us. One of us! One of us! Aldo calls him the OD. Let's not call him a cocksucker. The other Dan. We don't know anything about him. I mean, we don't know shit about him. We don't know his real name. Is it Thaddeus? Is it Reginald? Is it Frank? I don't know. What's his address? Any of his friends? Does he even have any friends? Hey, we do know this. He's someone you better not fuck around with. He knows the Bears and the game of football. He's funny as fuck. He likes to fuck. And just like me, again, this is redundant, but he likes pussy. Nomad. This man was an extra on Oliver Stone's Natural Born Killers back in 1994. It is believed he has more body hair than any other mammal on the fucking planet. And some suspect he starred in gay porn back in the 1980s. But there's nothing wrong with that. Now he delivers the Bears' state of affairs. He handicaps games better than anyone except maybe Mike North, but they're both good. He loves the efficiency of bourbon. It's Tooch. It's Mr. John Santucci. You know this gentleman as the Podfather. He created the Barroom Network in 2014. But 2023 figures to be a big year in this man's life. Medicare, Social Security, and erectile dysfunction all at one time. Hey, quit calling him white. He's tired of that shit. He's Puerto Rican. He's Aldo Gandia. I've been saying for 3 years on the Barroom Network that I love the Chicago Bears more than I do masturbating. But now I don't really know if that's true. Alright, I'm just fucking with you. Of course it's true, but it's been a bad season. I mean, except for Justin Fields running all over the place, right? I recently got dumped by a girl on Facebook. My ex-wife's getting remarried. But don't worry about me. I'm still getting lots of pussy. I'm Dan Aguire.
These 5 are here to talk about the Chicago Bears and bare their souls.
Whoa! Thank you all for joining us tonight on Bare Their Souls. I am your host tonight, the other Dan, Mr. Shorty. We are down another Dan for just a little bit because he has his work stuff to take care of. And of course, the great Aldo Gandia is at the Senior Bowl this week. He's down in Mobile, Alabama, covering the Senior Bowl. This is going to be amazing when Aldo comes back, the kind of content we're going to have for this show. Not to mention, Greg Gabriel and Jenny Shimmons are at the East-West Shrine game this week as well. Holy shit, the bar room is blowing up. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Right now, we're going to start off with Nomad and I because Tooch is hanging out in the background. He will be joining us a little bit later, along with Dan when he gets done with his work duties. Nomad, how are you feeling tonight, my friend?
I don't think nobody gives a damn about how I feel right now. Look at this chat, man. These motherfuckers are starving for Bears content, football content, the trades, the free agency scenarios, the Senior Bowl. I mean, these motherfuckers are ravenous. Look, I'm looking at this and I'm just like, I almost feel crazy talking about anything but that. But we got a show to do. We'll get to some of that stuff.
What is up, everyone in chat? Mo Bierman, Cliff Victoria, Toreen Whitfield, everybody, Foster Covers, we love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Down and Aldo. As I said, Dan will be joining us soon along with Tooch. This off season is amazing, and it's going to be even more amazing as we go forward. The news. Let's just start off with the news today, Nomad, that Sean Payton was traded from the Saints to the Denver Broncos for the 2023 first round pick, number 29 overall, and a 2024 second round selection from Denver in exchange for Payton's services, as well as a future third round pick. So this is huge news. I think we should start off talking about this before we get into the subject of the show. How do you feel about this trade, man?
Well, first of all, according to I think Josina Anderson, or I'm not sure if it was her or what's the other dude's name, Ian Rappaport, one of them. You know, I'm not active on Twitter, but I pop in sometime just to see what's going on. And to me, it sounded like they were doing everything they could to get DeMeco Ryans and get him to commit, but also at the same time talking to Sean Payton. And he kind of found out about it. You know how agents are, they talk. And he's just like, hey, man, hey, listen, you telling me you love me, man, but you squeezing this other guy's ass under the table, man. What the fuck's going on? And that kind of was the deal breaker. Right. And I think he just went ahead and committed to the Texans after that. So that's what I was hearing happen.
That's a good pickup for.
And how's everybody doing, by the way? Sorry.
Oh, man, all you in chat, you guys are blowing up chat tonight. And it's so good to see all you guys again. We missed all you guys. Taking a week off between shows it's great to talk to you guys again. I mean, these two hires today, DeMeco Ryans to the Saints and then Sean Payton to the Broncos, they're both huge hires. I mean, DeMeco Ryans, boy, you could kind of tell that was coming, right? I mean, you just saw that right off the bat. The guy it's amazing how quickly these players are going from player to coach now, isn't it? And it's also a good thing for the league, I think.
I mean, I think he's been deserving of the job. I just look at him, watch his body language, look at how he interacts with his players, and he's a defensive guy. Mm-hmm. I can tell that I would love playing. He's gonna have them dudes ready to run through a wall for him in Houston. He's just a player's coach, and but I think I'm more disappointed on being selfish, man, because as a Bears fan, I wanted us to be able to pilfer some of those D linemen from San Francisco, and I know DeMeco Ryans is starting to get them now. They probably ain't coming to Chicago. We can get lucky and maybe get one. Probably have to overpay for them, but other than that, they are going to the Texans, man. And they had a couple, 2 or 3 of them that were up for grabs.
Mm-hmm. This Sean Payton hire, man. This is, I mean, the Broncos had the picks to. No, actually, they didn't have the picks because they traded it for a bunch of picks for Seattle's quarterback Wilson, and here they are trading another couple of picks away for a head coach. Like, what does that bode well for this team if they're giving up all that capital? You think Sean Payton's going to make a difference on that team?
I think this was all about Russell Wilson. At the end of the day, I think it was, yes, they have given up entirely too much draft capital, which means they're going to probably have to. What's going to be interesting now is to see if they stand pat with the defense that they have and the staff that they have now, or will they go in another direction? Meaning that if they do, they may have to give up some valuable assets to get some of that draft capital back. So your Draymond Joneses of the world, it could be other guys in there that may have to come up off of them because they need draft capital now.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. You're right about the Wilson thing. I think that's the main I mean, they clearly had a train wreck there at head coach, and they have a Hall of Fame projector as a quarterback there who didn't do shit for that team last year. So them bringing in a Sean Payton to mix with Russell Wilson is kind of it's almost like a scary scenario. Although it's in the AFC, all these teams that have quarterbacks that have, good teams, they're all in the AFC.
Let me ask a quick question. I know you don't have this number in front of you, But I'm gonna ask the chat, what is Russell Wilson's what was that contract that he got? They have a lot of money invested in him, and somebody's got to come in there. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Somebody's got to come in there and get that right. So in a general sense of talking about it, it was all about that. I don't know what that number was, but that's a lot of money invested in him, and they have to get the coach, the right kind of guy, to come and develop that.
Mm-hmm. And I can pull this up right now, actually. Let's see. His numbers are, let's go over to here. See if I can zoom that in for you.
Now we said $250 million.
There you go. So here's the numbers on Russell Wilson. So let me get rid of this. What is this crap? Oops. Shut that down right there. There we go. Okay, so Russell Wilson, 2023, he's going to make $8 million, then 17, then 37, then 40, 44, 50. Can you guys see that? So I mean, they had to go out and get a head coach that was going to fill the role of that quarterback, right? They can't just rely. It's why they gave up on one season with that head coach that they had. I mean, clearly.
Like Sean Payton is a very good offensive mind. Everybody accredited him for the Super Bowl that they won down there. I beg to differ. I give a lot of that credit to the defense there. They had a pretty much noodle arm quarterback at the time, and they just dinked and dunked and managed the game very well, called the kind of plays that he can execute well, me and Drew Brees. And the defense held on and they won the Super Bowl. But I think Sean Payton gets a little too much credit for that. Not to say that he's not a great coach. I think he is, but I think he's more of a quarterback-centric guy. So if there was ever a guy that can come in there and design a scheme around Russell Wilson that fits him, I think he's probably the right pick.
I agree. Let's bring some of this chat into this discussion because we're down a couple of guys right now. Let's see what everyone has to say here in chat and kind of involve them a little bit in this discussion. We got Renewable and the Rechargeable saying the deal contains $165 million in guarantees with $124 million fully guaranteed at signing, which is the second most ever in an NFL contract. Whew.
That's a lot of damn donuts.
That's a lot of damn donuts. Shit, it is. And donut holes. Michael Henneman says Fangio knows what he's doing, and even if he was under Fox and our team sucked, you could tell the defense was competent. Alan Williams was a joke. I mean, Alan Williams had to work with.
Come on, Mike. You gotta give him some tools and some weapons to work with before you jump down his throat, man. I know it looked bad this year, and I've said it over and over again. I'm not gonna sit here and go to bat for the guy at all. I think he still has plenty to prove. So does Getsy. So does everybody on that coaching staff. But it's way too early to be judging any of those coaches based on the roster that we had. I mean, I'm a Bears fan just like you all are, but I know there's a time that as a Bears fan, I need to pull back, fall back a little bit, and let things come together as they should, so that you see the product on the field that is meant for us to see, a winning product. That wasn't a winning product last year. This is just the way the roster was.
Right. And back to the Sean Payton stuff. St. Omni says he's overrated. Won Super Bowl. Foster Cover says Sean will fail. Cliff Victoria says Payton's a definite improvement over the head coach this season. I agree. We're going to see what's going to happen in Denver. And it's in the AFC, so who gives a shit?
It's not gonna pop off right away like everybody's expecting it to. He's gonna come in there with a new style. It's probably gonna be Russell Wilson centric. So they'll probably design the damn plan together, and they'll both put their own touches on it. But I don't expect them to just thrive right away. They don't have the offensive weapons to do that yet.
Right. Foster Cover says money aspect is sick when 80 million Americans live at or below poverty line. Yeah, no shit. So true, Foster.
Hey, I bet you, Foster, he ain't turning down nothing but his collar if somebody showed up at his door with that much money. I guarantee you that.
No shit.
But I get your point, Foster, man. I feel the same way, bro.
Yeah, man, we all kind of do in that regard, right? I mean, you see all these people making all this money. I mean, shit, you just drive around your own, the suburbs of your own neighborhood, and you see like, how the hell are there so many fucking giant houses around here? Everyone's just killing it over here. Like, what are they doing? They're probably working from home, just trading online and shit.
Right.
Most of them.
And so I
Dude,
just wanted to, you kind of broke up for a minute there.
go ahead, buddy.
No, I was gonna say, I just took this opportunity and I came bearing gifts from my guys in the chat. I know y'all are hungry for Bears content, football content, and these players that I've been studying, man. I've been doing a little bit of homework. And I got some names for you guys. If you guys want to take a minute to get something, write this down, however you want to do, you want to write it in your phone, whatever you need to do. But I have some players for you guys to check out. Some of them you may have heard of, some of them may be new to you guys, but there's some really interesting guys. So what I do when I go start studying a guy, if that guy's name gets circled after I'm doing my studying, that's a guy, okay, raise my eyebrow. If that dude gets a star next to his name, okay, I'm seeing traits that I like. That guy gets 2 stars. Oh, okay, we may have a stud here. The motherfucker gets 3 stars, he's a bad motherfucker. And I guarantee you, these names I'm about to rattle off to you guys, they all got 3 stars. And so I'm gonna name one for you right off the top.
He's got his pen, buddy.
Okay, here we go, Foster. First guy is Shaka Hayward, linebacker from Duke. Guy's about 6'5", probably in the 235, 230, 235. Might be a little bit lighter than that. But man, as soon as you see this guy, Foster, I guarantee you'll know this is an Eberflus guy. The minute you lay your eyes on him, he looks just like what's his name, Darius Leonard or Shaq Leonard or Bobby Okereke. All in the same mold of the guys Eberflus likes.
What's his name again?
Shaka Hayward, linebacker, Duke.
Okay.
Okay, the next guy.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of him by now because I heard he's tearing it up in the Senior Bowl. Guy named AJ Finley, safety from Ole Miss.
I'm writing this shit down. Hold on. Shaka Hayward, huh?
Shaka Hayward.
Okay. Who's the next guy?
AJ Finley, safety, Ole Miss.
Okay.
Here's a guy that I don't think really has the measurables for this coaching staff. Flus wants long, fast, lean football players. This dude is none of that, but I'd be damned if this dude doesn't penetrate and get in that backfield damn near every play. Guy name is Nesta Jade Silvera, D tackle out of Miami.
Nesta what?
Jade Silvera.
Okay. I'm trying to look these guys up. What is his position?
Well, we'll write them down. If you want to pull up a video or two when you write them down, I got a few more. You can do that. All right. The next guy, I think everybody knows about him right now because I heard he's tearing it up at the Senior Bowl as well. Tank Dell. Little bitty, just teeny weeny guy. I mean, he's teeny tiny.
He's a little Rudy.
Man, this dude is so fucking fast and runs routes so well. I haven't seen anybody be able to keep up with him yet. I'm watching his tapes, and I'm just like, nobody can guard him. Mm-hmm. Nobody can guard that guy. Forget how small he is. He's probably about 5'8", 165, somewhere in that range. But you can't do nothing with that little guy. I haven't seen anybody be able to guard him.
St. Omni says Tank Dell equals Tank Johnson.
I'm telling you, man, Tank Dell. I put Tank Dell in the same category as I put most people's favorite receiver right about now is Zay Flowers. It's just one of those guys that I don't give a damn what level, whether it's college, the NFL, they are not going to be able to guard these guys. These guys are electric. Tank Dell is just one of those guys. I got 2 more for you, and then you can go ahead. Well, 3.
Okay.
Jacorian Bennett.
Jacorian Bennett.
Jacorian Bennett.
I feel like we're on Key and Peele right now. Jacorian Bennett, San Jose State.
Let me spell it for you so you get it right. Jokorian.
Okay, I got it. I only had the C wrong. I had a C instead of a K.
I figured. Okay, he's a cornerback out of Maryland. I mean, I'm all the guys that I'm telling you guys about. And the first thing they start off telling you when the Bears coaches is they looking for guys that love football. These dudes love football. There's no question about that. Jacorian Bennett. Okay, the next one, everybody knows about this dude, but I got him higher than Will Anderson, and I'm standing by that. Will McDonald, edge out of Iowa State.
Edge. Iowa State. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have a guy that are you done?
One more, just one more.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Tyreek Stevenson, cornerback out of Miami.
Tyreek Stevenson. And you and your cornerbacks, I mean, you know what you're talking about with that shit. So
yeah.
I'll be looking into those guys for sure.
Oh yeah, I don't miss when it comes to that. You can guarantee that.
What about this edge rusher that I've been looking at here? Zach Harrison out of Ohio State, 6'6", 272 pounds, runs a 4.4 40.
Only
How
question I go ahead.
I'm just saying, how is that possible? How does a guy that's 6'6", 272 pounds with like a 36-inch wingspan almost run a 4.4 40? What kind of fucking Wheaties is that guy eating, man?
Hey man, I'm telling you, man, these dudes don't grow off of trees, man. You don't find these motherfuckers. They just freaks, man. I mean, some people just win the genetic lottery, man, and they just, man, he's one of those guys that I like the measurables with Zach Harrison. I love his measurables. He is absolutely a guy that they would target. He's absolutely a guy physically that they would target. Does he love football? Does he have a high motor? I would question both of those right now. I don't think he has a high motor right now.
That's the one thing I did kind of notice about him in the very little film I've watched is that the motor isn't that high. I mean, strangely enough, for a guy that runs 4.4 40 at that size, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes,
that's wild.
just, like Greg Gabriel says, it's the football character, How much football character does he have?
He's going to have to show me he can run a 4.4 40. Until he showed me that, I ain't believing that shit. Motherfucker that big ain't running no 4.4.
We'll see. We'll wait for the combine and see what happens, because I would like to see the proof in the pudding for that too.
So that's it, man. So if you want to pull up a video and let these guys check them out, feel free, brother.
I'm not sure how many videos I can go pulling up like that, because I would have to put together some film work before, because if I go playing somebody else's video, that could be a problem. So we don't want to get into those areas of YouTube.
I mean, yeah. So I did that for you guys in the chat, man. I know it's a few of those names right there that I gave you guys. You guys knew already, but it's a few in there. It's at least, I know it's probably one or two in here you guys weren't paying attention to. So there you go.
So really quickly, just run down the line again, really quick.
Okay. Shaka Hayward,
Mm-hmm.
AJ Finley,
Mm-hmm.
Nesta Jade Silvera.
Mm-hmm. Wait,
Tank
Jordan
Hill.
D. Silvera?
Oh, no, don't do that, man. Don't do that. Don't even do that.
Nesta D. Silvera? Is that what you said?
Next one, Tank Dell, Jacorian Bennett, Will McDonald, and Tyreek Stevenson.
Ooh, I gotta respell that. Stevenson.
The Tyreek is spelled kind of funny. It's Tyrique.
Oh, cool. I prefer that over the other spelling. It looks cooler on paper for sure. Yeah, St. Emily said that's Jordan's cousin.
I got a whole bunch of dudes, man. I got some 2 stars that are really good, and I'm just not done studying their film. They can end up with 3 stars, but I mean, I'll save some of those guys for later.
Because the most exciting thing about this is the amount of picks we can end up at the end of this draft, right? And if you're stockpiling picks from trading, let's just say they go from 1 to 2 and 2 to 4 and 4 to 8 and 8 to maybe they stick at 8 and then they take all the rest of the picks they got from that in this year's draft and they can add on to all these different kinds of players we're talking about here. Just stock the cupboards, stock the cupboards and see what you have on a rainy day.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's another draft where they'll be looking for volume. They will see this is what I believe will happen. I think there are core pieces missing on the roster right now that need to be filled. Everybody knows we need a tackle, at least, maybe 2. I think it wouldn't behoove them to go and get 2 tackles in free agency. We may need a guard. I think we have some guys on the roster that can fill in the left guard spot, meaning I really like Ja'Tyre Carter. Didn't see anything about him that I didn't like in the limited minutes that we got to see him play. I loved it. And so still, you need depth. So you're going to have to address that not only in free agency, but the draft. Also on the other side of the ball, got to have pretty much we're going to need at least 4 free agents, big time free agents to make this turnaround that we need on the defensive line. We're going to need at least 4. You address those and maybe a receiver. You address those pieces before the draft starts and you come at the draft at a point of strength and you're not desperate and you don't have to reach when you get there. And therefore you pick your best player at the top of your you pick the best player available. And when you got the guys that you want, then you start moving around and adding the quantity. You can trade out of a say 58 spot and start getting you some quantity and you some really good players in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. A lot of players.
This is what is it's almost kind of premature for me to even discuss the draft right now because of free agency, like we see here from Swinky, Daron Payne. The Bears could go and sign Daron Payne in free agency, and then that's not a priority in the draft, and there's going to be a lot of movement like that we're going to see, especially with the salary cap that they have. I'm hoping personally that they do not spend it frivolously. Like, don't go signing a Saquon Barkley for $15+ million a year. Go draft a running back and find one with some speed. Go find your next Hill that the Chiefs had, or but somebody without the character issues like that. Not Hill. Who's the running back that they had that the Chiefs had?
Talking about Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt. Thank you. Go find a guy like that with some speed that can hit the zone, holes in this offense with a burst. And the only thing that we're going to be lacking as far as that is concerned would be the blocking that we get from Monty. But I mean, I just don't see them re-signing Monty, and I certainly don't see them re-sign unless Monty tests the market and he realizes, he can sign here for $8-9 million. But I don't see them re-signing him unless it comes something to that, because he seems to want more money than that. And as far as breaking the bank on a running back signing, that just seems silly to me. Draft one with some speed, draft one with some good football character, and do that with one of the picks that you're going to grab from all the trade downs that you're going to get. And by the way, go and find yourself a quarterback too. That we can draft and develop behind Justin Fields, that we can get in the 4th round or the 5th round or something like that we can put behind Fields with the same character of play, the same style of player, I should say, and that fits that mold. There's a guy named Cam something, I don't know, like Maryland State or something, that he fits that mold. I think that would be an excellent prospect for a backup quarterback. I know I'm getting off subject here, but I'm just saying there's so many things that we could do to build the depth on this team with that pick that we have. It's fucking exciting, man.
Well, I definitely come at it a different angle than you. I believe in free agency, everybody has their different opinions on what we should value as far as players in free agency and the draft. I look at the tape. I just look at the tape over and over and over again till I find where the holes are. And we we are going to have to shore up that offensive line in a way that it's not going to be foolproof, but they need to shore the tackle spot up on the right side, and they make sure they have their guards on the inside and get somebody that can challenge Braxton Jones, push him. I know that.
Right.
Now, however, as far as the running backs go, I'm gonna beat the table for Josh Jacobs, and I'll tell you why.
I know you. Yeah.
In every free agent class, they don't come. A guy of that magnitude doesn't come along. He's not out there yet. They can still franchise tag him, but if he comes along, he's that kind of back where you can give him the ball late in the game. And if you guys have learned anything else over this playoffs this weekend and throughout the whole playoffs, you gotta dominate in the trenches. You gotta dominate on the offensive line and the defensive line to give yourself a chance to win.
Right.
If you learn nothing, you learn that. And you gotta have a bell cow running back. When you give that ball to him, he can carry your 7 to 14 point lead and finish the game.
Right.
Josh Jacobs is that guy. Saquon Barkley, I love the guy, but you can't give him the ball on every down. He does not run behind his pad. You got a 3rd and 3. You're not giving that ball to Saquon Barkley. I'm giving that ball to Josh Jacobs, though.
Josh Jacobs is a much better blocker than Saquon Barkley,
Much
too.
better.
Yeah. But what's he going to command in the paycheck?
I definitely give him anywhere between. I definitely give him 12 million to 15.
For how many years?
I give him 3 years.
All right.
Definitely. I think he's a Hall of Fame back in the making.
You do?
I do.
I know. You've been sucking on his dick for a little while now, haven't you?
I don't do any of that, but I know greatness when I see it. He's great. I'm telling you, I know greatness when I see it. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
You think so?
I'm absolutely sure of it.
I'm writing that down. Nomad. Josh Jacobs, Hall of Fame.
And in the draft, still go and get a running back. I also happen to believe that Kendre Miller is the best running back in that class. I see LaDainian Tomlinson when I watch this dude. Straight up. And those guys don't come often, man. You know, everybody likes Chase Brown. I love Chase Brown too. I think he's one of your better zone scheme runners that I've ever seen. But I don't think he can hold up well in pass protection. I just don't.
I don't know. I've got a buddy who's been pounding the table for his pass protection, so I don't know. We'll see what happens with him moving forward. I would love to see the Bears get someone like him in the draft. And you're starting to turn me on to Josh Jacobs. Bear Truth says, I think Jacobs and Monty are very close, give or take. Issues with Monty is that he doesn't have the acceleration needed in this type of offense to excel in it. And I think that is a good point, Bear Truth.
Exactly, Bear Truth. You need somebody when you hand him the mail, you need him to take it home.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Jacobs can take it home. Love it much as I love Monty, he can't do that. He can't finish a play.
Mm-hmm.
You need somebody that can go 50, 45, 50 yards and carry that mail to the payland. Josh Jacobs will do that for you. In short yardage, he will do it for you. In pass protection, he will do it for you. Out of the backfield, catching the ball, he will do it for you. He doesn't have any flaws.
J-Rock says Jacobs gets re-signed or tagged. What do you think about that?
Nope. I think that you got to think of the Raiders, how Bill Belichick operates in Patriot land. They don't really sign running backs to big contracts. They let them go and they draft another one. That's what they do. So I firmly believe Josh Jacobs is going to hit free agency.
You guys in chat are blowing it up tonight, man. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Down another Dan and an Aldo and a Tooch so far. Tooch doesn't join the show till later, but God, you guys are awesome. Thanks so much. Let's just keep involving you guys as much as we can in this conversation because you guys
don't act like you don't know. They know we can rock this motherfucker. We've been doing this shit. This is what we do. God damn it. Shit, we can carry a show.
Fuck yeah, we can carry a fucking show. God damn.
What the fuck we do.
I got the keys to the fucking Barroom Network tonight, man. Let's fucking rob the cupboards. Where they hiding that booze, man? Come on.
Man. let me throw another little piece of red meat out for you guys that I gave 2 stars to, but I almost gave them 3. And it's DeMontre Jacobs, a tackle. Now I can't remember. And Triple R, renewable review. Do me a favor, check that name out for me. I can't remember where that guy was at because I didn't write his team down. But I remember looking at the tape. DeMontre Jacobs, a tackle. Check that out for me, man. See where he was at.
I just wrote it down. I'll look at that too. DeMontre Jacobs. See, this is going to be fun because we'll be able to put together some tape moving forward here once we get all of these. Again, for me, it's kind of premature because we haven't even gotten through free agency yet, but it's going to be a lot of fun to get into the production side of this and kind of put out some tape of some of these players as we're talking about them moving forward on this amazing Barroom Network that we're a part of. So stay tuned for that. I mean, plus there's so much other content coming out on the Barroom now. Greg Gabriel and Danny Shimmons. Fucking Aldo is right now. He's in Mobile, Alabama. I think he's by himself. Poor guy. But he's getting some great content for the Barroom Network. So
hey Todd, do you want to know another one real quick? And the chat's gonna go wild. I got 2 stars on a guy that I think I slighted him, and I got to go back and study the tape. But this is the guy that's all over Twitter right now. He's blowing it up at the Senior Bowl. Fucking DeJuan Jones, the right tackle out of Ohio State. Oh my God. I didn't realize he was that big. Oh, hold on.
What is he like? He's a right tackle.
Triple R wanted to know that name, so I'm gonna spell it for him. DeMontre is spelled DOMNTREY. DeMontre.
DeMontre Jacobs.
Yep.
All right.
But
I don't see it on this list here, man. You're getting down into the nitty gritty with these guys, aren't you?
Oh man, dude, we can do a week's worth of show on all the shit I got, dude. I guess down with it. Man, I got my scout friends, my coach friends. I don't tell him shit because he on the opposite. He the enemy because he coaches for a team I don't like. And every year around this time, he always asks me about corners because he knows I know corners like the book. Man, tell me who you looking at this year. Man, I ain't telling you shit. Every year. He just called me last week. I mean, I ain't telling you shit. I tell you, he laugh. He thinks it's funny. They all down in Cancun kicking it, man. He just try to. No, I ain't telling you jack shit. You got a whole scouting department, and you calling me for fucking help. I'm never up there with him. I said, you gonna be with him soon? Y'all got to scout players. Fucking calling me, man.
Look, man, I'm on Barroom Network now, man. Leave me the fuck alone. Casey L says, you guys are doing awesome. And Aldo gets a break too. Casey, thank you so much for those kind words, man. You have no idea how good that feels to hear that. Thank you.
Okay. He said DeMontre Jacobs is 6'6", 315. I just can't remember where he's from. Renewable.
DeMontre Jacobs. Let's see. He says 6'6", 315. Let's look him up here. Because he's not on this list that I have from the draft prospects. Let's see.
You know he's not gonna land on nobody's list, man. You got to go looking for this shit.
All right, DeMontre.
I think it might have been South Florida, right?
He is
South Florida.
Offensive line from where the hell is he from? Yep, South Florida. You are correct, my friend.
That motherfucker got arms from
315 pounds. Let me pull him up here. Let's see.
Our coaching staff likes long arm guys, and he is that.
Mm-hmm. So, let's see. 6'6". Doesn't show his arm length.
He got some long ones. He's not, and it's not a three. That 315 is not a fat 315 at fucking all.
Not at 6'6". No, that's a lean 315 now.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Is
Keep
it
that
too
dude.
lean though? Where's it?
No,
Does he
no,
have
no,
abs?
no. You prefer that you get them that way because you can. It's easier to work them into the shape and the condition and put the muscle, the type of muscle that you want on them. It's easier to do it that way than have to burn the bad weight off of them and start rebuilding the muscle.
Mm-hmm. There was Swinky says Zach Harrison has long arms. They're like 35 3/4, man. If Zach Harrison really is 6'6" with it's 272 pounds with a fucking 36-inch wingspan and runs a 4.40,
Man, Dewan Jones can reach over his shoulder and wipe his ass. That motherfucker, he can touch the clouds. I'm telling you, I heard he had 7'11", 7'11" wingspan. I mean, that's like Anthony Davis type shit.
Let's see. Let me zoom in here. The one.
Don is talking about Keanu Benton. Man, you late. I've been said that. I said that shit probably 2 months ago. Yeah, he a dog. Keanu Benton is a dog.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Nomad, you noticed that Greg Gabriel was hanging out with who?
Oh yeah.
Let's fucking talk about
that. Now I gotta bring him behind the scenes now, huh? I gotta bring him behind the scenes, man.
We gotta bring the chat a little bit behind the scenes here, man.
But they heard Greg say this on Greg and Aldo's show. They heard him say it. He told you guys, well, he told Aldo on that show, I think 2-3 weeks ago, that he had been, in love with Jalen Carter and Will Anderson like everybody else, and until he started watching Tuipulotu's tape. And he was blown away. He just said, "Stop the press. God damn it, if I ever get a chance to talk to Ryan Poles, I'm gonna be in his ear telling him, draft that dude." And that picture showed up online, and I got right in the private chat and told all of them, tell that motherfucker he better have said that. He better definitely have said Tuli's name in his ear. He better have said, "I want to hear about it." And,
he
all them laughed about it.
He had to have, right? He had to have done that because Greg is high on him too.
Aldo ain't said nothing, man. I don't know if he asked him or not, but I'm itching for him to say something, man. I was hoping that he popped in the show tonight so we can ask him about it.
Yeah, me too. I don't know. He's probably hanging out at some strip club in fucking Mobile, Alabama right now. I'm sure there's plenty of them.
Drilling the she-mail somewhere. Or getting drilled.
Maybe he's hanging out with someone, a she-male as handsome as this man right here, and Mr. Toochie. What's up, Toochie?
Tooch Barbarino, man, how you doing?
Hey, fellas. Sorry I'm late. It's a lot of stuff going on for me today. How are you guys doing? Sounding good. I love she-mails. Walked in she-mails. Fucking Nomad. Yeah, my youngest had a tonsillectomy, adenoidectomy, and those ear tubes put in. So I was like,
oh man,
big day for us, and I had to do a lot of stuff, other errands and stuff, but
good old
ready to roll.
Removed, huh?
Yeah, my 4-year-old. It's just when after they get that stuff, they're like, "Oh, it hurts," you just breaks your heart and everything. But yeah, I got Bears State of Affairs. Let me know when you're ready to roll.
Oh, you have Bears State of Affairs.
Yeah, lots of stuff going on today in the world of the Bears.
I was not sure if you had Bears State of Affairs ready for tonight. You ready for that? You want to get the roller going?
Actually, you know what? Give me a couple minutes. Aldo sent some clips for everything.
Did he?
Yeah, did Aldo send you guys some clips?
He's asking you. I don't think he's telling
Oh,
you.
you're asking me if he did. He might have sent him to my email.
Ah.
Check that right now, because he likes to send things to the other email that I don't look at.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if there was any clips from the senior or Shine Bowl.
Aldo ain't sent me shit. He loafing. Getting a loaf.
I have one for Bears State of Affairs in case you guys are ready. I've got a short clip, but I got to load it, so I'm behind schedule, man.
I have not. Let me see. Nothing from Aldo for clips for tonight's show. That's why I did make one for. I went and made a clip for tonight's show based on the title of the show. I think it's the most important clip of the title of the show. So I think we can just talk about that when we pull that up. So if you want to get into the Bears State Affairs, just let me know. We can get that rolling for you, my friend.
Yeah, I am trying to load up that Aldo clip. Hold on one second.
Want me to kill some time right quick, Tooch?
Real quick, like 2 minutes.
Give us some more content there, Nomad.
Because I see everybody that name Keanu Benton is booming in the chat, and I was telling people a couple of months ago, you have to pay attention to certain words. The GM and the coach, the head coach, they say certain things, and you have to know how to translate it. When they were asking polls at that exit interview at the end of the season about what would he be considering, as far as the draft picks go, and we're talking about Keanu Benton. He said we'll be looking for value picks. And what he means by that is, to me, the way I translated it is, don't get so wrapped up in the big name the big two names you keep hearing day in and day out, because we see some guys that we can get a little bit later on that have just as good a value as these names that keep pounding, your sphere. Forget, Will Anderson and Jalen Carter are great players. They're going to be great. But there are other guys out there that have equal or the same kind of value as those two. So Keanu Benton would be one of those guys.
Keanu Benton.
DT out of
I'm running out of paper over here, man.
Wisconsin, brother.
Wisconsin. Wait, what's the position?
It's a D tackle.
Okay.
I seen him, man, and I went and really did some homework. His hands are crazy, and his feet are just as good. And I found out that he had that wrestling background, so that really bodes well for, like a championship wrestler background. That really bodes well for somebody that's playing in the trenches and trying to, keep guys off you. You have to be really good with your hands to be a wrestler. And so I just think he's got a lot of upside, and I wouldn't be mad if we ended up with him for sure.
Nomad, we got some nice players on the Hawkeyes out here in Iowa. I like for the Bears. I don't know if you've seen the guy they call Hercules, number 94, Lucas Van Ness.
I like
him.
He's
a beast. He's like a Bosa,
You know who I like
Sam
more than him?
Laporta, the tight end, if you've seen him. The linebacker, what's his name? He's a Jack also, right? Jack Campbell.
Jack Campbell.
Man, you guys are making me run out of fucking paper over here.
I like the cornerback. I like number 33 more than that's another guy that I was going to talk to next week. But what's his name? Riley Moss or something like that. The corner number 33.
Yeah,
I really like him.
That's all we had was defense. No, man.
You always got to offer. Those offensive linemen are always good.
Yeah.
Riley Moss, who? What's his position?
He's a cornerback. I think he's 33, number 33. Is that?
Yeah,
that could be wrong.
33.
The 33rd prospect or number 33?
Number 33. That's another guy. You guys in the chat, write that name down too. Riley Moss. You will want to remember that name.
What's his school?
Iowa.
Oh, Iowa. Okay.
Then you have
cool. Right.
He just missed everything me and Tooch was talking about.
Because I'm fucking reading chat and I'm trying to write shit down.
And Tooch is froze.
God, look at that frozen position too.
He's like this. Sickle. We got a Tooch sickle. Hairy ass pop sickle.
Oh, we got a Dan sickle too. Oh, look who has just joined the show.
Oh,
What's up, gentlemen? How are you?
Oh,
Dan
we are
Quagmire Aguire.
I'll take it.
Did you say Dan Quagmire Aguire?
There was a kid
to
that used to pick on me as a kid when I was young, and even though he was a foot shorter than me, and I wouldn't do anything, I wouldn't fuck up a kid that was smaller, like that much smaller than me, but he always called me Fire Aguire for some reason. And then he was shot to death robbing a bank. True story.
Oh shit!
Jeez, that's terrible.
That's a true story.
I take that back. I ain't calling you no more fucking names.
Well, I don't know what you all spoke about yet because I've been busy here with just a plethora of feels like homework assignments, but I'm ready to go, and I assume that everyone can agree that I was somewhat absolved with my opinions on Mahomes and what happened on Sunday, because it seems like I foreshadowed what happened.
I got some stuff for you could talk about Mahomes after Bears State of Affairs because I addressed that in there. Do you want me to roll it? I'm finally ready after Chrome and StreamYard quit on me and booted me off. But
No.
All right.
Yes, let's
Should we
run the Bears State of Affairs.
roll it up?
The bald fuck's going to the Super Bowl. It makes me sick.
Yeah, no shit. He's gonna take credit now. Like, I did this.
Dan,
All right,
I think you can top your hatred for Matt Nagy, man.
I got a few words for him.
Man. I have the keys to the bar room. I meant to load up my fucking Matt Nagy thing that I pull up every time somebody says the word fuck. I forgot. Next time.
The swear jar.
Yeah. All right, let's get ready for the Tooch's Bears State of Affairs. Ready?
All right. Yep.
Uno, dos, tres. Oh fuck! What happened there?
Dan loves that.
I do.
Bears State of Affairs offseason. Week 3, what's happened in Barflies? Well, this week we learned that former Bears GM Ryan Pace was, it seems, the worst GM in Bears history. This week in an interview on 670 The Score, it was revealed by Pat Mahomes Sr., the father of Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, that the Bears and GM Ryan Pace told his son that they'd be drafting him 3rd overall in the 2017 NFL Draft. Instead, the Bears and Ryan Pace traded up one spot to pick North Carolina quarterback Mitchell Trubisky, and Mahomes fell to the Chiefs at number 10. Wow, what could have been? Maybe even Bears fan Dan would have been a Patrick Mahomes fan if the Bears had only followed through on their early intentions. See, this is why I'm always disappointed in the Bears when they have inexperienced coaches and GMs who then go on to make mistakes as they learn on the job. Trading up was just one of many ways in which blockhead Ryan Pace screwed the Bears. He's basically responsible for giving us Matt Nagy, Mitch Trubisky, a woeful salary cap situation, a talent-deprived roster, and a 3-14 season, one of the worst seasons in Bears history. Yes, Ryan Pace sucked. First, he botched the quarterback pick in 2017. He reportedly picked Trubisky, a quarterback with a resume of only 13 college football games, because he drove a POS car and used the pseudonym Jim McMahon at the restaurant where his job interview took place. Second, he hired Matt Nagy, arguably the most controversial and simultaneously incompetent coach in Bears history, allegedly because Pace's wife got along with Nagy's wife. You can't make this shit up. Then he left the cupboard bare before he finally was jettisoned for new Bears GM Ryan Poles, another inexperienced GM. Poles has yet to prove himself either way, but again, the team hired a GM who also will be learning on the job. Hopefully with new Bears president Kevin Warren on board, things will be different. While the Bears will again be watching Matt Nagy in the Super Bowl from home this year, they currently project to have about $40 million in cap space, $40 million more than the next closest team on the list. They'll have lots of cash to spend in a season where there isn't the best crop of quality free agents. GM Ryan Pace will be throwing around plenty of new contracts in the next 3 months. That means re-signing current free agents, extending others on the roster, and of course, trying to land some of the top unrestricted free agents on the market. Half of the Bears roster will enter free agency this spring. Some will be retained, but most will likely be gone. Bears fans had best be prepared for the roster to look radically different next season. It looks like a good year for defensive linemen, offensive linemen, and running backs in free agency. There are some underrated linebackers as well. Chicago Bears are virtually sure to land one big name. Bears fans are hoping the team rebuilds in the trenches. I know I am. Whatever they end up doing, it will set the stage for what should be the most crucial draft this franchise has conducted in a decade as they decide what to do with the number 1 overall pick in the 2023 draft. And in other news, Bears coaches are at the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. Bears offensive coordinator Luke Getsy will be the head coach of the American team. He and 2 other Bears assistants, linebackers coach Dave Bergonzi and assistant tight ends coach Tim Zetz. That should fire you up. We'll get to see the prospects firsthand this week. Being face-to-face and having them do what they ask makes it easier to see how good prospects really are. Last year, the Bears ended up drafting 4 players: Velus Jones, Braxton Jones, Jatire Carter, and Dominique Robinson, who all played in the Senior Bowl. Also, the barkeepers at the East-West Shrine game in Las Vegas. Bears greats such as Walter Payton and Gale Sayers once played in the Shrine Bowl. We do have a short clip of barkeeper from Las Vegas.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
That was really him. You guys. All right. Hopefully Aldo's behaving and doesn't return to Chicago with the clap. And then there was Warren Sapp. Forget it. That is Bears State of Affairs.
All right.
I thought Aldo was in Alabama.
I think he's in Las Vegas.
No, he told me he was flying to Alabama.
He's in Mobile, Alabama.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
East West is in Las Vegas.
You can still get the clap, and you can still get the clap there.
Oh, he has a better chance of getting the clap in Mobile, Alabama.
It's Mobile, Alabama, number 1, and those country girls down there give you more than a goddamn clap.
They'll give you lice.
Oh, so Dan, would you the Bears drafted Mahomes, would you have been a Mahomes fan?
Oh, can we stop with this? I mean, I know we didn't draft Mahomes. It was almost a decade ago, and truthfully, had we drafted him, he would have probably sucked in Chicago because of bad coaching and bad play calls and everything.
Bad coaches. Yeah.
Ring around the rosies. Yeah.
Oh my God. Seeing Matt Nagy at the Super Bowls, like seeing your ex-wife, getting married, but also releasing like a tape getting gang fucked at like her baby shower or something. I don't know. I'm just pulling shit out of my ass right now. But the point is, it's just like, I don't want to see it. Like, that's more reason for me to root for Philadelphia, despite the fact I don't like the Eagles either, because of past playoff losses the Bears have sustained to this franchise. But I cannot root for Kansas City in any way. I would think, unless you're like a Mahomes worshiper, ball licker, or a Kansas City fan, anyone else that can think critically saw what we saw on Sunday. And this is a team that literally just got, hey, you want to go to the Super Bowl? We want you there, so here's a gift. You get to go for free. It's like you didn't earn it whatsoever. But all right, but you've got Mahomes, so everyone's going to suck your dick, and you're going to probably be favored, even if you're a favorite. You're the underdog by 2 right now. By the time Sunday rolls around, Super Sunday that being, they'll probably be favorites.
Bear Truth agrees with you. He says, "I'm with you, Dan. Let the Mahomes thing go." And this goes back to what I was trying to back you up on last week. Is this you're just sick of the same old narrative about the same fucking quarterback being shoved down your throat, whoever's the flavor of the year or the half decade. And part of it is jealousy. You want it to be the Bears quarterback. You want it to be Justin Fields. In year 2, Mahomes was the fucking MVP. He won a Super Bowl. In year 2, we're still sitting here like, yeah, Justin Fields is our guy. But we're still like, as we've been saying on this show, like, we still know that we need to see more. And that's the thing that sucks about being a Bears fan is, why can't we just be sitting here going, we drafted a fucking quarterback who was a passing quarterback. He wasn't a running quarterback. He was known for his accuracy and his arm strength and his arm positions and how he was his deep ball accuracy. He comes to the Bears, who are known for running backs and linebackers, and he turns into a fucking running quarterback. And then now in year 2, yeah, everyone's loving Justin Fields, but there still is the reservation around the national media, the national fan base that still think, not us, they think that we don't have a quarterback. And nobody's blowing our quarterback like they're blowing Mahomes or they're blowing Jackson or they're blowing whoever the flavor of the moment is that year. I get what you're saying, Dan. I am 100% on you on that. It's not a Mahomes thing. It's not a Mahomes thing. It's not a race thing. It's a fucking, when is it our turn thing? And fuck, it's going to be our turn this year.
Okay, I've got to respond in just a second to this thing from Mo Bierman, which I completely, absolutely, unequivocally repudiate his entire fucking statement, but I'll get to that in a second. I'll just want to say, with regards to the Bears and Mahomes, we could have drafted San Francisco could have drafted Mahomes as well, and Mahomes beat them in the Super Bowl. And not to mention, since then, subsequent to that, they've lost Jimmy Garoppolo, presumably for good in this offseason. They've drafted Trey Lance, gave up a bunch of picks for him. They don't know what they have. He was hurt after week 2, and then they thought they had their next, their next guy and Purdy, and he gets hurt, and he's out for 6 months now, minimum. So they may not even have a quarterback, despite it seems like they have 3 quarterbacks, but they may be with 0 out of that group. And they could have drafted Mahomes too, but we don't get to hear that pounded in their fucking face all the time, despite the fact he beat them in the Super Bowl 3 years ago. But I digress. Can I please pull up some instances for you all of where the referees just clearly helped Kansas City? Because apparently Mo doesn't agree with me. So
let me preface that too before you do, because I think this will help your point. Is that I think close to 80% of the money was on the Bengals. But go ahead, Danny.
Okay. Now I'm just going to start late in the game. All right. In the second half, when things are critical, we got a 20-20 tie. Cincinnati's last possession. Again, maybe these are not chronological, but this is off the top of my head. It's not like I took notes.
I actually have the video right here if you want me to pull it up when you're done.
Well, Frank Clark takes 3 steps. 3. Takes 3 steps and hits Joe Burrow, knocks him down. There's not a roughing the passer call. If that's called, certainly that elongates Cincinnati's drive and potentially changes the game as well. But that's one. Oh, let me rewind. Before that, the most bizarre sequence I've ever in 37, 35 years, whatever, of watching football. Kansas City has a 3rd and whatever the fuck, and they don't convert. Okay, great. Cincinnati's getting the ball back. Cincinnati's getting the ball back. About a minute and a half after the play's over, the official comes out and says there's a do-over without much of an explanation. Now, if it was a false start, we get it. Somehow the play, if there's a false start, you kill the play and then you have to run it again. But they actually let the play go all the way through. And when they didn't execute the first down, they give Kansas City yet another 3rd down, which I don't think I've ever seen in my lifetime. So there's 2 calls.
There's not a lot of help.
I think this is the play you're talking about right here.
Yeah, there's a clear block in the back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was getting to this punt return at the end of the game.
You're getting to this. Okay, I'm going to pull it then.
I was talking about right there, like the 3rd down that they were given 2 3rd downs on. But okay, so Cincinnati, Burrow gets hit. They don't call the flag. So Kansas City's going to receive the punt, which results in field position close to midfield. Oh, there's a clear block in the back, which is not called. I mean, it's clear. I mean, it's anyone watching the game, unless you're rooting for Kansas City or a Mahomes worshiper, it's obvious it's not called. Next, because, wait, there's more. Wait, there's more. By the way, I don't know if you all know the story of Willis Reed in the 1970 Knicks or even Jordan against the Jazz. That's what we had. We had Mahomes with a slightly sprained ankle who suddenly can walk on fucking water like Christ. And he gets out of the pocket, with the help of two blatant holds from his Kansas City linemen that the cameras pick up and everything. But the officials, even though, 20 million people watching on TV see it, the officials don't see it. They don't throw a flag. Mahomes gets out of the pocket because he can't walk. I don't know if you all didn't know that, but he's running, but he can't walk. Right. Which, again, just is such bullshit. So he's running because he's not that fucking hurt. And every time he threw an incompletion, Romo's like, oh, my God, his ankle. And then he said N-words, but that's another story. But
almost didn't he?
So Mahomes races out of the pocket, gets tapped, and looks like he's been shot by some asshole that would have done a school shooting. Like, it's suddenly he explodes. It's like he barely is touched. He looks like Vlade Divac in the playoffs from 2002 with the Kings, who was flopping constantly, or LeBron James, someone that just flops every time he's touched. He's barely touched, and he flops, and they give him the 15-yard penalty, thus so they get the punt return, and then the no hold, no block in the back, no two holds on one play they don't call, and then they give him 15 more yards on that and a chip shot field goal. And by the way, Kansas City then goes to the Super Bowl, and within 10 seconds of that, this is what we heard: the Andy Reid Bowl. Oh no, the Eagles and Andy Reid, because that's what the NFL wanted. Andy Reid versus his old team. It's all about marketing, gentlemen. And you remember the NBA official that said that back in the day he was instructed to help Iverson get into the finals. They were instructed to make sure the Lakers made the finals, that the league fixed it. And then they said, oh, that's crazy talk, But I wouldn't be surprised if this is that same kind of situation where they had an edict. This is our Super Bowl. Do whatever you got to do to get St. Mahomes and Andy Reid against his former team. We've got to have this matchup.
And we've talked about this before. There's gambling on the line now. So who knows? This is the play that to me was the most absurd one of the game, where you're sitting here with it on 4th and 4. And I turned the volume down because I can turn it up here as we listen to this call.
It should not have started. Please reset the game to 10 minutes, 24 seconds. Put 10 seconds on the play clock. We will start the play clock on my signal. Game clock will start on the snap. 10:29 on the game clock. It will start on the snap. Thank you.
And then they go on to go, wait a second. And then they reset. They put the ball back on the line to gain or whatever. And then the Chiefs all of a sudden get the ball back, and it's like 3rd and 9. And then Tony Romo goes on to say,
why did we have 4th down? Sort this out. Listening to Ron Torbert, he said that the play was shut down. We may not have heard it here with the noise factor, but the play was shut down prior.
I mean, that was here. You're looking at the complete disgust on the Bengals coach. Like, what in the hell is going on right now? This to me was the most absurd call. If you're going to say the game was rigged, what the fuck was this call about right now when you're 2020 tied, and you're just saying that this play didn't even happen when they were about to punt the ball to them?
This is straight out of the Raiders-Patriots tuck rule game, where you just have one side, they are going to make sure New England wins no matter what back in 2001. It's the same thing that happened Sunday.
Right.
The tuck rule.
Yeah.
When everyone watching the game, again, knew that the Raiders were fucked that day, unless you were a Tom Brady / New England fan. And nobody was really a Tom Brady fan yet, because that was his first season as quarterback.
Yep.
If anything, most people were thinking Drew Bledsoe would take back over. And even Brady has said so many times, I was pissed off on the sidelines because I knew I lost the game. And then guess what? They are giving the ball back just because, 9/11 and the Patriots. We're all Patriots now. So, but I said this in tweet to you or in text to you. I honestly believe the most that in my head that I can think of a team that was cheated was the 2000 Portland Trail Blazers. I know I'm going to different sports, but they were down 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals. It battled back. It was Game 7, and they led by 15 going to the fourth quarter. Pippen's playing point forward that year for the Trail Blazers. and they have a 15-point lead. They trailed 3-1. Now it's 3-3, and they go in the fourth quarter, and the Lakers get like 43 free throws in the fourth quarter because we've got to have the Lakers versus Bird in the finals. And it was disgusting how bad the Blazers were treated. That's the way I felt watching the Bengals there. And again, I have no reason to root for Cincinnati. I'm sure someone will say I'm just rooting for Cincinnati because Burrow's white or some bullshit. But fuck, I don't care about Cincinnati as much as I feel bad for them because that could have been us. That could have easily been us. And how many times you can't tell me at some point in a Green Bay game, like whether it be the title game in 2010, of course, it didn't happen that day. But if I told you whenever the Bears get good again that they're going to get jobbed against the Packers, does that sound too far-fetched?
No.
Cliff makes a good point, man. Half the commercials, there's like DraftKings and FanDuel commercials during the game.
I think you and Todd, Dan, got some bad energy right now. Y'all got bad energy right now, and I'm really tempted to throw some holy water on both of you motherfuckers right now. Burn you motherfuckers up. Really, man, the truth is the Bengals lost that game. And I could tell you why.
Yeah, but hold on a second, Nomad. When you get down,
wait. Go ahead, man.
I'm going to just say this point really quick because I'm going to go take a leak after this. When it gets into the close games like this, and then the calls start going either way, you can almost start to tell who they favor. In a blowout like the Eagles versus the Niners, it's different. But if that game would have come down to the wire at the end, they would have been probably favoring one team over the other. They probably would have been favoring Brock Purdy. Let's get the rookie quarterback into the fucking Super Bowl for the first time ever.
Todd, take it from me. Take it from me. As a player who played in a stadium like that, in an environment like that, the refs are going to get some shit wrong. It's loud.
You son of a bitch.
It's loud. And if you were standing right in front of me in that stadium trying to tell me something, you'd be screaming at the top of your lungs trying to get your point across. The refs are going to make mistakes. There are going to be plays that they miss. There are going to be a lot of calls that they miss. At the line of scrimmage especially, there's holding on every single snap. Not on some.
Yeah. Fuck yes, there is. Any time of the game.
And DBs, there's going to be a hold on every snap or push off from a receiver on every fucking snap. But we can't be so to the point where we microanalyze everything from afar. To be in that environment, you learn to accept certain things. They're not going to catch everything. The truth is the Bengals lost that game. Why? And I'll tell you, I wrote down some shit. Number one, the Gibbs Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator from the Chiefs,
Shouldn't this be whoop some ass? Nomad's whoop some ass.
He had rookie defensive backs out there dealing with those motherfuckers. He had them prepared. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, give that man his flowers. They lost 3 of their main guys at receiver with Mahomes on a bum leg, and Valdez-Scantling went out there and got it done. Give that man his flowers. Chris Jones was unstoppable. Unstoppable. And Mahomes just wanted it more. It's just the bottom line. That's why they won the game.
Guys,
I disagree in the sense that I feel like you have to ignore. Wait a minute, something else is playing. I apologize.
I said I'm going to let you guys go at this while I head to the bathroom really quick. I'll be right back.
One more thing before Dan talks. They had 3 chances. The Bengals had 3 chances in the fourth quarter to win that game. 3 opportunities. They fucked them all up. That's why they lost the game.
Well, in my opinion, I mean, it's one thing if there's a random blown call, but we're talking about a cavalcade of either no calls or inexplicable calls, like giving them the third down over again, which I've never seen before in my entire life. Again, if there's a play like that, whether it be an illegal procedure or something, they kill the play. But to allow the entire play to transpire and then 90 seconds go by in reality, and then they come out and they're like, oh, no, you know what? We're going to give them another third down. Shit like that I've never seen before. And this is supposed to be, quote unquote, the all-star cruise, the best of the best. That's why they got to do the postseason games. And if you can't get your shit together like that, then just leave the regular cruise together or something. I mean, you're talking, and it's not like we're talking about one call. We're talking about every critical call in the fourth quarter going Kansas City's way. And that's not a coincidence, man. It's just the narrative of what they've been pushing. And they acted like Mahomes was playing with a broken fucking leg because they're marketing him. He might as well be Hulk Hogan in 1984. And the announcers are Vince McMahon and Jesse the Body Ventura. They're pushing him the way a wrestling company would push their athlete down your fucking throat so you'll buy his jersey.
Dan, if you believe at least 50% of what you're saying right now, you never watch another football game the rest of your life.
I do believe that to be true. Everything I said, I can't prove it. It's just my opinion. It doesn't make it a fact, but it is my opinion, and I do believe it. And I've seen so many of these kind of calls benefit Green Bay, usually, not even just against the Bears, against other teams. But yesterday was Sunday was probably the worst. Going back to the 70s when Pittsburgh would constantly get every call against the Raiders. I mean, just over and over and over. Or even when Denver got the 77 AFC Championship game when Rob Lytle fumbles, it's clearly a fumble recovery by the Raiders. They give Denver the ball back, and the Broncos win the game and go to the Super Bowl because they're at Mile High, and the league didn't like Oakland. Let's just keep it real. I mean, shit like that. That's what this brought me up to. It made me think I was like watching 70s NFL when every call went against the Raiders. And I'm not a Raiders fan, but I can think critically and watch the game and decipher that happening. So,
hey, Tooch, you know that when you watch like one of those medieval times movies where those guys have bow and arrows, what's that thing that they keep the arrows in? Don't they call that a queef or something like that?
Quiver
or something. Well, I don't know. Anyway, but Dan, could it be said, Dan, that you already had arrows in the quiver to shoot?
Well, last week I predicted that this would happen.
Beforehand, ready to criticize if in the event that Patrick Mahomes won this game.
Well, I said that the league would favor him and that they would act like he was playing without a foot. I knew that was going to happen, and I knew all the calls would go their way. I mean, truthfully, in that regard, I kind of maybe deserve a pat on the back because I was right on that one.
You ain't getting one, motherfucker. No.
I mean, even if I was rooting for Kansas City, I mean, that's what I told my friend who's a Chiefs fan. And again, he's not a bandwagon fan at all. He's liked the Chiefs his whole life, going back to when Montana was a Chief. And he wouldn't admit it either. I was like, come on, man. I was like, if this were the Bears, I'd be like, all right, look, I'll take it. Fuck it. Whatever. We're in the Super Bowl. I don't care what you say, but you're right. We got all these calls. And of course, he wouldn't admit it and just like, oh, Mahomes is the best player in the league. And I'm like, God, can you put down the Kool-Aid, Jim Jones? I mean, can't you just, even if you're a Kansas City fan, can't you acknowledge that you got like 15 breaks to help you get where you are? I don't know why that's so hard for someone to admit. I know if people like Mahomes, they can't do it, though. It's almost like getting a Trump supporter to say that Trump did something wrong. They can't do it. It's the same situation. It's so biased. Even if you saw it, you digested it, you can't admit what happened. Dan, but that's not my problem.
Dan, just answer this one. Yes or no? Now, just to make this real easy. You were going to come in here slinging arrows one way or the other if Mahomes won this game.
I disagree with that. If Mahomes is a great player.
Nobody in the chat, nobody watching the show agrees with that. Come on, Dan. You ain't being for real, man.
I am. If Mahomes would have like let a drive, let's say like Elway against the Browns, where he goes 98 yards and leads them to a touchdown and it's all like legitimate, I would have been like, well, you know what? Dude's fucking good. And he is good. I'm not trying to say he isn't, but he's got it made in the shade, man. When you get every call that goes your way, before that, it was Tom Brady. It was Peyton Manning. It's Brett Favre. It's Aaron Rodgers. It's the same shit. It's the guy they like who gets all the breaks.
Wait, can I pause you? Can I pause a second for station identification? A queef is a name for a pussy fart.
No.
It's funny, Tooch, that you brought up Jordan because once more, I want to say quickly, I don't like the Utah Jazz. Fuck the Utah Jazz. But Russell was fouled on that last play in 98, but Bulls fans won't admit it. That was an offensive foul. I was rooting for Chicago. But that was an offensive foul. If that's Kukoc, if that's Pippen, if that's anybody else in the backcourt that pushes Russell to the ground like Jordan did, they call that an offensive foul.
You got to
I'm
call
with
it,
you on
man.
that, though, man.
You got
I
to
know.
call
I
it.
thought
He's
the
an
same thing.
NFL team. Yeah.
I tell you one thing. I tell you guys one thing. What's the average time for an NFL football game? What, 3 hours? Right?
Yeah,
Somewhere
three and a
around
half.
that.
Yep.
Add commercials and all that shit into it. We'd be looking at, we'd be in the neighborhood of 6-7 hours if the refs called every single call that happened on that field. That's how slow the game would be.
Why call any? If you're going to pick and choose to your calls, why choose them at the end of the game where they're the most critical?
Come on, man. Yeah, I think y'all are being hypercritical. Y'all are being hypercritical because you want to support Dan. You don't want to leave Dan on the island. I get that. That's cool. Two,
I was on an island last week. Let's not forget that.
Dan, come on.
Hey, man, listen. Football players play, coaches coach, refs ref. They lost that game because they lost that game. The players lost that game.
All right, Nomad, I got to ask you a question. It seems to me, listening to you, you were rooting for Kansas City. Am I right?
I didn't give a shit.
It sounds like you were rooting for Mahomes, man. I'm just saying.
I really don't give a shit. I just enjoy the competition when it ain't my team. I don't give a shit one way or the other. It wouldn't have mattered to me who won that game, but I can be critical on both sides and feel okay. It doesn't matter. If it ain't the Bears, I don't really give a fuck. I'm not invested. I study the game. I study it. So the competition is the most important thing to me. I just want to see a good game, and they gave us that.
I'd like to have seen a fair game. That's what I'd like to have seen.
It just sucks when you get down to the end of any game, whether it's Bears, Packers, or a fucking championship game like this between two powerhouse teams. If you're gonna see, if they're gonna call the fucking, because like you said, they can call any offensive holding play every time if they wanted to. They could call it defensive holding probably any time if they wanted to. If you're gonna call those and make those the critical points of the game, then that's where I think the subject of this show comes from, is that when it comes down to when it matters most, when you can call it any time, you're calling it when it matters most. Call it in the middle of the fucking game.
Hey, Dan, think about the game we were at, the Dolphins game. When Claypool was like basically sodomized on the last play there, and the refs don't call it, and what happens? The Bears submit the tape, and by Wednesday or Thursday, the league says, "Oh, we blew that one, but it didn't matter. It's like the game's still over. Miami still got a cheap victory they didn't deserve, and Fields should have had a comeback there." What's going to happen when Cincinnati submits that tape? With all these blown calls, the NFL is going to say, "We're sorry. We apologize. You're correct." And Kansas City still plays in the Super Bowl in 13 days.
That's where my defensive
12 days.
Is because I know you're thinking of it from a Bears perspective. If this happened to the Bears, you would be fucking livid. So
if this happened to the Bears, I would be trying to find an online therapist. I mean, I would need it.
You're watching games as if it was the Bears in this, going, "Oh, we got fucked again by this team because they want this team in the Super Bowl over us."
If you go back and like I have twice now, I've studied that game twice. If you go back and look at it, you will see obvious times when, and this is me being critical. I know you were for I know you like Joe Burrow, Todd. You like Joe Burrow and you wanted Cincinnati to win. Probably ain't gonna admit that right now, but I know that's the case. But if you go back and look at that game,
why would I love Joe Burrow? It has nothing to do with.
I know. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant to me.
About that,
I was just trying to make a point, man. I was trying to make a point. Joe Burrow, there were times, and before I even get to Joe Burrow, dude, it's like Jones, I forget his name. Jones 95 was held on every play. Every fucking play. They only called it so many times, though. It goes back to my point. This shit happens on every play. I don't think you guys realize how many. I mean, every play.
You can call any one of them.
The guy gets mauled. The guy gets mauled because nobody can fucking block him.
I forgot someone on Twitter had a post where they put a bunch of like Chiefs offensive linemen holding and Jones getting held and stuff. But look, I found out this year that when when a game's about 80 to 90% money on one team, I would bet they hold my nose and take like the Texans plus 14, against the Eagles, and that they lost by 13. I won the bet. But, that's how you could see that whether or not you think it's a tinfoil hat conspiracy, I mean, you gotta at least look at it objectively, And another thing I wanted to get your guys' opinion on was Casey had put up a comment about should the NFL have full-time refs? Let it be a full-time job, Nomad.
Yes.
I'm on record saying that there's no reason why they don't.
They can't afford them.
They can. It's $1 billion a year business.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, right.
I don't even know how that. I don't even know how you. I assume that they had full-time referees. That's how much.
These guys are like they have other jobs.
Making fucking $100,000 a year on their own that are like off doing this shit, making another $100,000 a year.
I don't know if that's what. I definitely would expect them to definitely go that route, because that doesn't make sense not to. That makes nothing but sense to have full-time referees that train and this is their job all year round, is to be better at it. Yes. I just assumed that they had that already, but that's just me studying football and not paying attention to fucking refereeing.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like you think about it like podcasting, right? This is all kind of our part-time jobs that we're like not even being paid for. At least those fucks are being paid for it, but not much compared to the time and the effort that they're putting into it. They're fucking they're the calls that comes down to some of these guys.
Man, are we gonna do this? How long are we gonna do this, man? Yeah, I think you guys made your point, man.
Show.
I
think you guys made your point, though.
Can we talk a little bit about the next game? Because first of all, I had one of the best weekends this past weekend in sports wagering for myself personally. I put in a bet on the Eagles for myself, for clients, the Eagles minus 2.5. As soon as that line came out, it jumped all over them. There's no way that the 49ers are going to go into Lincoln Field, play the Eagles, come out of there. That's a tough place to play. The fans are brutal. You have a rookie 7th round pick starting, and
it's irrelevant.
Yeah, it just the game's too big for a rookie at that field, against that team, against that defense, against the skill positions of the Eagles on offense. So that was a huge play for me. I had the under in the Chiefs and Bengals, the under in the Eagles 49ers, a teaser Eagles and Bengals. So I did have an interest in the Bengals keeping it close within 7.5. But it was a huge weekend for me, and I like the Eagles next weekend. I got to tell you, their defense. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a close game. I think the lines right now is like -2, -2.5. I like the Eagles to win this game by a field goal or more. What do you guys think?
I think if Philly's going to win, they better win by like 10 or more, because Jalen Hurts is not Patrick Mahomes. He's not the golden boy. If it comes down to something close, Kansas City's getting the calls, not Jalen Hurts. And
that's what worries me.
That'll be emphatically emphasized on Super Bowl Sunday when something comes down and it gets, like I said, one guy's is their guy. He's their guy, and he's coming down your fucking throat whether you want to swallow or not. So that's what I'm saying. Jalen Hurts is, like Aldo says, Jalen Hurts is the way we want Justin Fields to play next year, and I agree with that assessment. But the league, man, their guy is Patrick Mahomes.
That's the reason why I have not.
He's going to win.
I haven't put a bid in yet for that very reason, Dan.
Yeah. And that's reality, man. That's fucking reality.
Are the Eagles, the Raiders, and the Chiefs, the Patriots this year?
Quite possibly, and not to mention, and it's Andy Reid's revenge game. They love Big Red. They act like he didn't lose 4 straight NFC championships with Philly because he was so conservative and wouldn't let Donovan throw the ball. Like I remember those days, but He lost those because he lost his fucking balls in those title games. But that's been erased from history. Andy's right there with Vince Lombardi now, buddy. He's got Patrick Mahomes. So they want Andy and Patrick to win. That's it. Philly's going to have to win big.
Go ahead, Todd.
I agree. I don't think it comes down to anything other than the flavor of the moment and who the NFL wants to promote, whether that player is black or white. It has nothing to do with it. It's who their flavor is of the moment that they want to make the face of the NFL. And clearly Mahomes is the guy that you would want to make the face of the NFL. He's this guy that won a Super Bowl in his first season as a starter and an MVP in his first season as a starter. He hasn't won shit since then as far as Super Bowls, but he's been in a lot of championship games and a lot of playoff games, right? And now they're going, well, we can't let this happen. If all else comes to the very minute, we're going to have to make sure that in the very end, if it becomes controversial, it goes in the way of the Chiefs, because we want that guy to represent the NFL. We want that guy in the Super Bowl, period. I see what Dan's saying. I agree. It has nothing to do with a race thing. It's just whoever the fucking flavor of the moment is. I'm glad it's not Tom Brady anymore, but I wish it was a fucking Bears quarterback.
Me too.
Wait a minute.
Hey, maybe it will be.
When Dan Todd. When Dan drilled you, did he put on Vaseline? Did he make it easy?
He fucking used hand cream.
He just basically you're mimicking Dan. Dan has infected you. He gave you the virus, man. You're running around sounding like Dan. Listen, let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you a couple things here. When you get done dissecting this matchup between the Eagles and the Chiefs, number one, the Chiefs defense ain't the same as it used to be. That shit's gonna look like a juggernaut. At the same time, the Philly offensive line is a fucking juggernaut. They dismantled, I think, the most ferocious defensive line I've seen since the 85 Bears in the San Francisco 49ers. That fucking defensive line is a monster, and they handled them. Philly has a monstrous offensive line. But I think at the end of the day, I think it's going to come down to Kansas defense. I think they're underrated. I think Kansas City is that game by about 14.
Well, if it's a blowout, then that'll clearly, solve the debate here. If it comes down to a 2020 game with 10 minutes to go, I can guarantee you
man. We're going back to the conspiracies, man. Why we got to keep doing that?
I don't know, because I thought
why we got to keep going there, man. Come on, man. We got to move past that, dog. Straight up. So I love y'all, man. I love all you sons of bitches, but we got to please move past that, man.
Who do you
the
like?
NFL is not rigged. Players lose games. Okay.
Nomad, who you got in the game?
What's that?
What was that?
Who do you got in the game in the Super Bowl? What do you like to win? Like, no bias, just breaking it down head to head.
You asking me or who?
Yeah, Nomad.
I said I think I got Kansas City.
Okay. Shorty.
I got Kansas City on this too.
Dan Aguire.
Yeah, I think Dan agrees.
Let me just point out as
agrees
well,
because it'll be
Well, let me also
likes the Eagles, man.
Can you guys
America's
hear that
team
ding?
is the Chiefs.
Do you guys hear that ding coming in, or is it just me?
I heard it. I thought it was someone's phone or something.
Hey, Todd, stop fucking with shit, man.
It's my mother texting me. Sorry, let me tell her to stop texting me.
We on live TV, fucker.
Let me just point out, with about 5 minutes to go in the Super Bowl 3 years ago, the 49ers had a lead, and then suddenly Kansas City's got a couple calls and scored 14 unanswered there to win the game. But that happened. Super Bowl 54, it can be rewatched anytime you want. Kansas City's going to win one way or the other, in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if Hurts looks like he did against the Bears. Couple of picks, uncharacteristic. It's the big game. The other team has the superstar. He's going to be on every fucking commercial as soon as we go to break. Oh, you don't have to get that personal, Patrick. Oh, Patrick, let's suck your dick. Yeah, Kansas City's going to win, one way or the other.
So let me ask you a question then, Dan, and guys who have Kansas City, because in my opinion, I think Kansas City will be the public play. So if 80 to 90% of the money's on Kansas City, who wins the game? Yeah.
Well, I can only hope that Philly does what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did, and that was just beat his fucking ass in the ground. Just keep hitting him. Of course, they're going to throw flags if you hit him too hard. Just like that was with Aaron Rodgers for, every time he got sacked, they came up with a new rule. Well, Minnesota sacked him. They were like, Barr, you rolled over on him too much, and that's a new rule. Like every year, it was like you couldn't hit Rodgers, or they'd come up with a new sack rule. And but you got to say the heck with that. You got to live with that. You got to hit him. Tampa got him out of his fucking, he was out of his element. He wasn't used to. He's like, wow, I don't get beat up like this. I'm Patrick Mahomes. So you got to just keep fucking hitting him and blitzing him and knocking his dick in the dirt. That's their only chance to win. Because when he gets rattled, he throws the ball up and he'll throw interceptions. He being 15, Mahomes. But you've got to get him out of his zone, and they've just got to hit him. They've got to hit. That's what Tampa did to him 2 years ago. They just knocked his dick in the dirt, man. That's their only shot.
Can I tell you guys what me and my football player friends talk about? And this has always been true. And this is if I wanted to argue, the Eagles should win this game. Here's why. Everybody knows that the hottest team going into the playoffs usually do fare better as far as the depth they go in the playoffs. They make it to the end, usually. The hottest teams. But more importantly, the healthier teams are the ones that finish and end up with a trophy. And to the side of the Philadelphia Eagles, they should win this game. They are absolutely the healthiest team.
They should
and
win
the
this
hottest
game.
team.
Yeah. That's what you always look for. That's why the 2017 Bears or the 2018 Bears, that was a team that we thought could actually progress into the playoffs because they had gotten through the season relatively unscathed. They had a good season out of some of their most productive players. And we thought that, if we can just win that first playoff game and get a little bit deeper into the playoffs, we could stand a chance. And then that fucking double doink happened. And here we sit today. So
the worst part about that, if I could just
can I
quickly
stop
say
you on the double doink real quick, because it came out about a week ago.
It was blocked.
The double doink. One of the players said that he had got a hand on it.
Yeah,
I don't care. It hit the crossbar and the upright. He hit the upright 4 times against Detroit in Week 10 or whatever it was that year. He should have been cut
in the preseason.
He should have been cut when he lost the game. He had just played at the Dolphins, had perfect weather conditions, and missed the game-winning kick in Miami. They should have cut him then. I advocated for that on air then.
Yeah,
but
Shane
worst
had that
part,
too.
Well, Shane had it right
Before the
as soon as they
preseason.
signed him.
Yep.
As soon as they signed him, they said this guy's a joke. Is what Shane said. But
Yeah.
I just want to quickly point out 2 of the worst parts of that Philly loss was that Golden fucking Tate, who had made all these like bear killer moments with Detroit, is the one who catches the 4th and goal to beat us before Mitch led us down the field. And of course, the traitor, Alshon Jeffrey, doing the Hogan ear and stuff at Soldier Field just makes me sick. I wish somebody had busted his ass like a fucking, that thing. I always reference this, the 1993 French Open. It was Monica Seles against Steffi Graf, and Monica Seles literally got stabbed by a Steffi Graf fan on the court. Yes. I'm not saying that should happen, but if it would have happened, Alshon Jeffrey would have been a perfect fucking target.
And by
fucking
the way,
traitor. Mr. Soft Tissue always hurt when it comes to the Bears because he had no heart.
Can we answer this question that's on the screen real quick?
Here's a question, Tooch.
I can't answer it yet.
Player in the NFL rep, who would you invest in, Mahomes or Hurts?
I don't really know enough about like Jalen Hurts off the field. You know, I haven't heard anything bad, so I assume he's a good kid. Mahomes looks like a good kid too in his community, and it looks like a happy guy, always having fun playing the game. So I don't know at this point. I don't know enough about Hurts to maybe Nomad can answer the question.
This question here.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know if you had to invest in a player as an NFL rep, you know, as the rep for the NFL Players Union rep, I assume, who do you invest in, Mahomes or Hurts?
I don't know whether he was asking that to you specifically, but I'll answer. Who do I like as a player rep? As a player rep who advocates for the players better than I've seen. That's what I would think right off the top.
Yeah. Yeah,
that would be probably Ray Lewis if I had to think of somebody off the top of my head.
Which of Mahomes or Hurts though?
Mahomes or Hurts?
Yeah.
I know more about Hurts and what he thinks and what he believes in than Mahomes.
Mm-hmm. I would say Hurts. Question.
Yeah. I'm interested because I don't know enough about Hurts off the field, but to me, we haven't heard anything bad for all I have. For all I can gather, he's a good kid.
Great character. Great character, man. I'm telling you, that dude's worked for everything. Nothing was given to that dude. He has had to work for it all, with all shadow of a doubt against him. They were ready to run him out of town last year, really, and he survived that. And not only that, he catapulted his team into the Super Bowl. So, I mean, you have to kind of check Jalen Hurts out to understand where I'm coming from. That dude stands on something, man. And Patrick Mahomes, I know less about him off the field than I do about Hurts, to be honest with you.
St. Omni here says that Hurts is the son of a football coach. And
I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's a lot of football character right there.
I love Jalen Hurts' game too, man.
Coach. Yeah.
I tried to draft him in fantasy football, and all three of my leagues wasn't quick enough.
It sucks because this is another quarterback in my draft board that I had that the Bears should have taken a flyer on. You know, Jalen Hurts.
Aldo liked him too. Yeah.
I mean, why not?
How about this for something? And this is something I said to you guys privately. This is the first time two African Americans will face off in the Super Bowl.
I love it. I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner. It's ridiculous. 2023.
But the haters were out. The haters were out in sports.
Hold on a second. I have one question for you on that, Nomad.
What's that?
Is Tevin Jenkins black or white?
Oh, he's black. If you got some black in you, you black. Your hair ain't straight, you're black.
So if one of your parents is black, you're black.
You black.
Okay. Well then I won't go any further.
Hey, that's a genetic thing, man. Black is the strongest in the genetic pool. That's just
I gotta
the truth.
be part black. I had curly hair most of my life.
You got some brother in you. You got some brother in you somewhere.
The reason why I asked you that, Nomad, is because Tevin Jenkins is more fair-skinned than, say, a Patrick Mahomes, who's Tevin Jenkins' mother is black and Patrick Mahomes' father is black. So Patrick Mahomes might have a little more of the colored genes in him that makes the skin a little bit darker, but Tevin Jenkins has a little bit more of the father side in him that makes his skin a little bit lighter, yet he has, you know, the hair more like his mother's, but it's a little red, right? It's not like Patrick Mahomes is a little more browner than Tevin Jenkins. That's why I asked you that.
I had this conversation with a mixed girl that I was dating in Ohio. Almost married her. And she was, I know she was fully ready to slap me in my fucking mouth for asking that question. Yeah. And she took her fucking what's those little scrunchy things they put in their hair? They put their hair in a bun.
She
was ready to get on my ass. She's like, motherfucker, what do you think I'm a white motherfucker? She got mad about it. I guarantee you, any one of you guys in here, look in your what is that thing that they got out there? What
23andMe? I'm a part of it.
You'll find some black people somewhere, and somebody of color is in your genetics somewhere.
It's in my genetics.
It's in everybody's genetics. Mm-hmm. Somebody that's white is in my genetics.
So I can call myself.
We're all kinds of fucked up, and what it's not about what I think of Tevin Jenkins, what I think of him, is what society thinks of him.
Man,
Society
he really
considers him
surprised me
black.
this year. I was worried about the kid. I liked his game this year, man. I tell you, I got hopes for the kid this coming year.
So do I.
He's definitely a brother. I guarantee you that.
Well, Retro says America says that children are predominantly the race of their mother. I tend to notice over like just my own research that a boy looks more like his mother and a girl looks more like the father.
Yeah.
If you look at it's not always, but it's like 80% true. So
yeah. My girls kind of have like a little like miniature scrunch face of mine. It's like.
Yeah, they look like little mini.
I'm so sorry about that, girls. No, I'm just kidding.
Can I break this right quick? Let me say R.I.P. to Tyree Nichols. I know we ain't talking about none of this, but rest in peace to Tyree Nichols and what happened to him in Memphis and everything that came about since he passed away. So fucked up, man. I mean, I don't want to get too carried away with that, but I just had to put that out there.
Good point for bringing that up.
Tragic.
This chat is still blowing up, though.
They want us to talk about football, man. They want us to talk about football, and that's it. That's what they want to hear about.
Damn.
Bare truth. Damn, Shorty. Whose side are you on? I just, what I like to do, bare truth, is I get myself in trouble with posing hypothetical questions. That's all. I just like to challenge people's frame of mind and their perspective. None of it is really anything that I believe. It's just what do you guys think? Well, if the question is posed about this or that, like the hypotheticals, as Kitty likes to say, the philosophicals, I like to do. So,
you know something, man.
That's anything that I have to say.
You see a fair skinned guy in Tevin Jenkins. He's got skin as white as yours.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You see that.
That's why I asked. Like, do you view him as black or white?
You know what the rest of society sees him as?
Mixed.
No.
That's what I view him as. He's mixed.
He's a brother.
He's a beautiful combination of both black and white.
He's a brother. He's a brother. Whether he wants to.
I'm still a brother though too. You're my brother, and I'm your brother. Tooch is your brother, and so is Dan.
He's a black man. He's a black man. But you just saw Foster covers. Bears. I want to hear about the Bears.
Bears. It's all about Bears. Are you a bear or not?
Cody Whitehair popped up in the news today about Bears, him possibly not being a member of the Bears next year. Any thoughts?
Say that again, Tooch.
Cody Whitehair news today about him not being a part of the Bears, and Cairo Santos too. So we haven't heard from Dan, Cairo, Cody.
I didn't see the news on Santos. So can you tell me what it was again?
Sure, they could save. He does have a bit of a larger contract for a kicker.
He's got to go when he's advocating. Oh, I can't make this kick. We can't try this. We have to punt from the 33-yard line. When you got a kicker that has no balls, that's missing extra point after extra point after extra point,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I know he's good usually within 40, 42 yards, but most kickers in today's league can kick 57, 60 like it's nothing, but not our guy. He's a fucking afraid. Yeah, he should have been cut after that game when he was afraid to even attempt the kick. He's lost all of his confidence. I go back. I remember Dallas during that run with Jimmy Johnson. God, what was their kicker's name initially? He later, ironically, lost a playoff game for Kansas City in 1995 against Jim Harbaugh and the Colts. They lost 10-7 because the guy missed a field goal that used to be Dallas's kicker. I can't think of his name. Anyone can look that up. But he was on the Cowboys championship team in 92 when they won Super Bowl 27. Point being, the next season, he told Jimmy Johnson early in the year, I've lost my confidence. And Jimmy was like, hey, I hate to hear that. Like, I like you. I care about you. But we're releasing you and signing Eddie Murray tomorrow because I've got to have a kicker that has confidence. They fucking cut him as soon as the game was over after he told Jimmy he didn't have confidence anymore. So, I mean, we get to keep our guy around forever whenever that happens. So, please. Go ahead.
Bear Truth 9, that was part of the story. Would you re-sign Robbie Gould, bring him back for a final season? He's 40 years old.
Let's not forget why Robbie was cut. I mean, I have to say this all the time because it's easy for everyone to be like, oh, look at how great he's been the last, but when he was with the Bears at the end, he lost, like, for example, he lost a game against San Francisco with the missed kick. He lost a game against Washington with the missed kick. He was missing extra points in the preseason and was bloviating, constantly comparing himself to Michael Jordan, and it was getting like $4.5 million a year. He was missing kicks. That's the reason he was cut. Don't forget also, in the year, and if he'd have made this kick, we'd have made the playoffs. Robbie in the Metrodome in 2013, Mark Trestman was criticized for it. From 47 yards out, Mark Trestman went for it, a 47-yard field goal on second down, because he was like, we've got Robbie Gould. And Robbie Gould came out on second down, straight ahead, and missed a 47-yard field goal. So Robbie was missing a lot of kicks in his time with Chicago, and people forget that. It's convenient because he's been good in San Francisco. He was kind of iffy with the Giants too, but he has been good with the 49ers. Would I sign Robbie? Fuck it, bring him back. Bring him back, because at least until you get to Arlington Heights, he knows how to kick at Soldier Field. I mean, and he's going to want to make, like, if you ask Robbie, hey, do you want to go attempt this kick? At least he's going to say yes. He's not going to be afraid like Cairo. And this has nothing to do with me disliking Cairo or because I didn't like Robbie. I mean, Robbie was always running his mouth and just so fucking conceited, but he's a better kicker. So, yeah, in terms of Cody Whitehair, the Bears didn't do him any services early in his career, changing him from left guard to center to left guard. Oh, in case of injury, you can play right guard. Kind of the same deal they did with Kyle Long. But look, the Bears line has been struggling for 10 years, and he's been a part of that, either injured or struggling on the field. Thank you for your service, Cody, but I'm sorry to see you go, but you got to go.
You had one of the easiest positions to replace is guard.
Hey, Tooch.
But hold on, guys. You see here that under the Cairo thing, it says down here, Cairo Santos signed a 3-year, $9 million contract.
Yeah.
He received $4.75 million in guarantees, in which $3.75 million is guaranteed at signing. Another $1 million will become fully guaranteed if on the roster on the third day of the 2022 league year. The final 2 years are void for salary cap purposes. So if they cut him after this year, he's not a salary cap problem. They could go out and bring back fucking Eddie fucking Pinero.
I just like that Dallas kicker's name was Len Elliott, who lost his confidence and lost a playoff game for Kansas City in '95. That's what we should have done when Cairo was afraid to kick. Sorry, sir. We wish you well in your future endeavors.
I don't know what the situation is with the kickers, but I know this. I'm pretty sure I've seen this somewhere. But Robbie Gould, I don't know who said this in the chat. Well, should we re-sign him? I don't know, because I heard somewhere that Robbie Gould had a little beef with Chicago after they.
He was at the Eagles game. Yeah, the double joint game. He was at the double joint game rooting for Philadelphia. Don't forget that. He was at the Bears-Eagles game in 2018 rooting for Philly.
So there you go.
So for me, game on the line, who's coming? In fact, both the guys are on the sideline. Oh, I'd rather have Robbie Gould kicking. But like Matt says below, man, just draft another fucking kicker.
Let me throw another name out. Let me throw another name out. I'm sorry to step on everybody. I'm just excited. I came in late, a guy that I don't know if he's a free agent or not, but for some reason he's getting a little bit older. But when he was in Detroit, motherfucker was booming kicks at Soldier Field, hitting 58, 59 every season. Matt Prater. Matt Prater was constantly nailing like almost 60-yard kicks at Soldier Field as a Lion. I know he was at the Cardinals this season.
Matt Prater's a little drinky though.
You guys want to hear?
He had the DUI.
You guys want to hear a funny ass story? I'm gonna take y'all back to my college days. When you go as a college football player, I don't give a fuck who you are. At some point or another, whether a college player wants to admit it or not, somebody's gonna approach him and try him with steroids to try to get him his body better and just try to get him better. Somebody's gonna approach you. Somebody. I get to that motherfucker, and we're sitting in the cafeteria. You know, football players. You eat with the football players. It's cafeteria for us, and so it's just football players scattered all around the cafeteria. And I'm sitting here. Next thing you know, one of our kickers, we had two, one that started and one was a backup. The starter came and sat with me. And I'm just like, what the fuck you doing sitting here, motherfucker? I know I'm a smaller guy. I was only 5'10" and 165 when I got there. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Because I'm a small guy. You come sit with me, get your little ass out of here. And basically he came over there and he propositioned me for steroids. Just so happened our star running back was sitting behind him in another table, right behind him. And so we were eating. I'm just like, dude, I'm good, man. I ain't fucking with none of that. And he was just like, dude, if you trust me right now, it's the time to do it. He's giving me all the scenarios of why it's a good time to do it as a freshman, because at the end of the day, I could redshirt. He was telling me all this stuff. And I'm constantly batting it away. I'm like, dude, I'm not fucking with none of that shit. Get the fuck away from me. And finally, the star running back on the team, he turned around and he said, hey, you ain't just fucking hit him, man. He said he don't want none of that bullshit. Now get the fuck and walk away from his table before I feel go kick your ass. And that motherfucker got up and marched away from that motherfucker like he just heard Jesus. And that's the end of it. I mean, that's the story, you know. So
that's a good segue into this. Look at the field goal kickers in this draft. Oh, none. So
I got an X-rated story from when Dan starts when that light comes down when Dan does a story.
I don't have any stories for you right now. I was just talking football, man.
You want me to take over your spot when that light comes down?
Go right ahead. Give us a story.
You don't want me to do that? It's kind of disgusting, man. So if I do that, man, y'all gonna have to brace up for this. This is fucked up. Dan's sex life. Oh man.
Oh God.
So in college, listen, and I hate to say it because it's pretty much an embarrassment of riches when you're a college athlete and everybody knows you. You're in another city when you expect that don't anybody know you. And you get there and you find out it's a totally different situation than you thought it was. Everybody fucking knows you. They know your whole story better than you. And so in my dorm, it's probably my first week there. Anybody you know what an RA is, Tooch? An RA, right? Tooch? Tooch, you not listening to me? Anyway, an RA is a resident assistant. Okay, it's a resident assistant. That person is pretty much the person that kind of controls that dorm, and he sees to the comings and goings of everybody coming in that building. And that RA was kind of like a male groupie, right? And so he's working at the desk in the lobby, right? And he really liked me. And he called up to my room and he was just like, hey, I got somebody down here for you. I was like, what's she look like? Talking about a girl that was a groupie down there. And he told me, you look pretty good, man. I said, well, send her up. He sent her on upstairs and, make a long story short, some shit happened. And, I didn't have physical sex with her. She had oral sex with me. And I climaxed in her mouth.
Okay.
Listen, man. And right after that, my homeboy calls me.
You're so proper. You climaxed in her mouth, huh? Nice.
All right, man. Listen. And she, my guy called me, and I told him what happened. I was just like, I got one up here, man, and he's on the football team too. He was just like, well, what's up with it? I said, I'm gonna send her down to you, but I'm gonna talk to her before I send her down there. And I told her who he was, and she knew who he was, and I told her he would like to meet her. She said, "Oh yeah, let's go down there." I said, "I'm gonna leave you down there to talk to him." But I told him on the phone exactly what happened. I told him, I said, "Whatever you do, dude, don't kiss her. Do not kiss her." So we get on the elevator. I take her down there. She goes in the room, and I walk out of the room, get on the elevator, and I had to double back because his roommate owed me money. So I go back into the room. I just walked in and the door was wide open, and he's kissing her in the mouth. Kissing her right in the mouth. And I'm standing there with my hands on my head like, dog, I just told you. And he's talking about, I forgot. The fuck you mean you forgot? I just told you. It didn't take 3 minutes for me to talk to him on the phone, hang it up, get her on the elevator and get her down there. He was 3-4 floors below me. Take her in his room, dropped her off, double back because his roommate owed me money and he was already kissing her in the mouth. To this day, he gets so mad at me when I bring this shit up. He gets mad as fuck. And it's been times I had to literally wrestle him because he gets that mad at me. You know, it's been a while ago, but it's so really fucked up,
like tasting another man's dick.
Oh man, dude, he gets so mad at me, man. He hates me. I don't bring it up now because he's got a wife and kids now. But if we private and we by ourselves and I feel like razzing his ass, I'll bring it up, but I know I got to wrestle his ass.
Sorry,
but yeah, that's fuck. I don't even got no respect for him, to tell you the truth no more. I don't even respect that motherfucker. That's fucked up, ain't it?
That's fucked up, yeah. That's almost as bad as using your ball razor on your face.
Oh man. See, that's kind of stuff. There's got to be limits, man. Got to be limits. You got to draw the line somewhere, man.
I bet you Dan wouldn't give a shit, would you? Like,
I mean, like if the lady had like brushed her teeth and maybe she smoked or something, had a cigarette, you know, like it's just something. If it was like straight afterwards, I don't know if I'd be like, you know, give me your tongue, baby. I don't know about that. But
2 minutes, Dan. 2 or 3 minutes. It was over. The phone rang. I talked to him, and she was on the elevator.
I mean, does she have like a beer, like something to like, you know?
Not a nothing. Not a shit. They don't work like that, man. She come up there and she
a shot of whiskey.
Groupies come and get that. Groupies come and get their piece of the pie, and they move to the next one.
It's true. It's true.
And he kissed. I mean, I wasn't gone 25 seconds, and I had to turn around and go back to that room. He's already kissing her in the mouth.
Oh God!
It made me sick to my stomach, man. On that
Dan,
note.
So you'd be okay as long as she had a beer in between, right?
I mean, you know, you would prefer she'd brush her teeth or something, but I mean, you know, fuck, I'm not necessarily into, you know, I mean, not saying sharing, like I don't own women, you know, like I don't possess women, so I'm not trying to say it like that, but I mean, I'm not really into the game of like threesomes and stuff like that. That's not my I'm not being critical. It's just not my thing. So, I mean, if girl was with guy one, chances are I'm not going to be with her right afterwards anyway. That's what I'm saying, you know, because that's just not my. I'm not poly or whatever.
Dan, that's a whole nother show. I'll save some of that for another show because that shit happened. It's frowned upon now.
Dan wouldn't be the follow-up in the gangbang, huh? You'd be the first one to go.
No, you got to be. Don't ever be that last guy or the second guy.
What about so the middle guy would be. What about the third guy out of 5?
He's a lame.
So the second guy would be okay, or just the first?
He's a lame. If you ain't first, you a fucking lame.
Oh man, I think that's about time that we should bring up this right here, Tooch. Where is it at? Oh yeah. You know,
I gotta go piss, man.
Right now.
I'll be right back.
We're losing viewers now. We're down. We're down viewers after that.
I
my
I thought
goodness.
of real quick. He mentioned when he kept saying RA. I do have one sex RA story, and it's brief. But I was a senior in college, and my girlfriend and I had just broken up in the fall semester, and this is spring. Like I'm about to graduate, and I had worked on trying to go out with this one girl from like a month after my breakup until the end of the school year. Like I had tried for months. Finally, after putting in, dates and conversations and everything, finally it's about to happen. I'm going down on her, and the RA comes in and says, "You got to get out of here. It's midnight. You can't be in the girls' room. It's midnight." I'm literally eating pussy. And I was like, get out. I'm drunk, I'm like, okay, whatever. I just continued to do my thing. But the RA like insisted she was going to call security, stops me while I'm in mid, like cunnilingus, and kicks me out. And I never got another chance. I never was with the girl ever again. Like that was my opportunity to do something, and the RA ruined it for me. Is my point.
Those fucking RAs, man. They ruin it every time, don't they?
Exactly.
They ruin all the fun every time, man. You're like, we're about to fire up this bong. Oh, fuck. They can
Well,
smell
I
weed.
didn't do any drugs, so that wasn't an issue for me. But yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's true. Yeah, but either way. But it's like, I have a similar story, but it was high school. And it's actually not similar. It's kind of opposite. It was just this girl that liked me. And yeah, I liked her too, But she was known as one of the girls that got around, And I remember sitting there. We were watching I was on the football team, so we were watching like the grade below us on Friday night or the night before when they played, like the sophomore team. And she was sitting next to me. And I don't know if it was that time of the month or whatever, but the wind was blowing and it stunk. It fucking stunk. I'm telling you, from 2 feet away, I was like, that is not normal. And that's not going to happen. And then she was getting more and more on me the whole night. Then we let's take a drive. Oh, so we took a drive and we're like laying on the hood of the car looking at the stars. And I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do it. It's just, it doesn't work for me from here. If you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jeans on, nothing going on. And I was like, not going to happen. So I turned that one down. Glad I did. No names. No
I hear
no
ya.
direct time frames. But sometimes shit happens, just doesn't work out for you. Do we lose Nomad?
He went to use the bathroom.
Do we lose Dan?
So she smelled like Badissi.
Oh,
right?
dude, it was like I don't even know how to explain it. It was like no words. Just bad. Let's put it this way. Through the jeans with the wind blowing in October.
See,
Man.
it used to be a thing when like I don't know if most guys their first mind is to go down on a female. I don't know if that's everybody's first mind, but it's definitely not mine. When you get a girl and you're feeling in that moment, just go right down on her. That's how you feel about it. Not me. I think you ought to definitely make that motherfucker boil it first. Put that motherfucker in a hot tub, boil that motherfucker. You don't unbutton a pair of jeans if she's been in the club, boogieing and hanging out, and those jeans are tight on her. You just don't do that, man. You just don't do that. Can't just go down on that. Sometimes them jeans unbuttoned, man, and all kind of hell start breaking loose.
Shit. Yeah, just put in a Hall's Mentholyptus cough drop and get to work. Shorty, you needed to give that gal a vinegar douche parting gift for the next time.
Like, honey, meet me in 10 minutes.
Oh, all right. Bears talking. Someone had posed the question that Do the Bears need a kicker? Are we set? You know?
No, we're not set. We need a kicker.
Yeah, I agree, Danny.
But
Cairo's got to go.
It kind of brings me back to this, though, guys. NFL draft prospects at kicker.
Yeah, I mean,
okay,
they're just. I don't think they've updated there's some dudes out there.
Maybe not.
Yeah, I know I saw some good prospects. They don't come to mind right now, but
I'm telling you, if Prater's available, that guy kicks upper 50s, 57, 58, 59 at Soldier Field all the time when he was there with Detroit. I don't know if he's a free agent or not, but that's somebody to look at because, I mean, he's made a 64-yard kick in his career? Granted, that was indoors, but he was still booming them at Soldier Field. So, I like Prater.
What do you think about what Foster Covers says? Should have kept Bagley.
Well, he did well for Detroit, obviously, and he kicked 4 in the game for us.
Yeah.
While Cairo was out celebrating his birthday or whatever the fuck the night before.
Michael Badgley, no relation to Ryan.
We can't let Bare Their Soul devolve to a whole segment where we're talking about kickers. That's lame as fuck.
We're doing it real quick. Oh.
We can't do it. Let's talk. I got something way more provocative.
We got so many holes. We even have kicker as a fucking hole.
I got something way more provocative. We want to talk about some Bears. I got something way more provocative. And you guys in the chat can tell me if it's an option or no. Throw a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever fuck you want. But if we get to the draft and we're in a position where we could use some extra draft capital, which we will be, would you put Jalen Johnson on the market?
Not me.
Okay, I'm talking to you guys. I'm talking to the chat.
Yeah, I like Jalen Johnson. So far, I mean, it's obvious to me that teams throw the other side of the field more often when he's on the field. That's just me, but I like this game. I don't think we need to create more holes, because we got, like I said, we have so many damn holes. Kicker's even a fucking hole.
It's sounding like a resounding no in the chat. But go ahead, guys. I'll tell you why I would do it.
Renewable says Johnson, see ya. I mean, I would say, I mean, depending on what it.
Let's get Danny's too before Danny got to head to work, right?
Yeah. Last week I was really late, so I need to bounce now. Jalen Johnson, if you're not going to re-sign him, if if Ryan Poles is like, I didn't draft this guy, we always hear that about Fields. If he's like, I didn't draft him, I'm not going to re-sign him, then I'm not opposed to trading him to get something for him because he's going to be in the last year of his deal. But if they want to bring him back for something more substantial, like his 5th, 6th, 7th year, what have you, then don't trade him. But I mean, if they're going to move on from him anyway, then I'm not opposed to them. But again, we'll never know that. So,
how many years does he have left on his contract? I think he's
just one. This is it.
Yeah. One last year, right?
Yeah, you only get the 5th-year option with the first-round picks.
Right.
So this is it. He's a free agent at the conclusion of this year, unless you want to franchise him. He doesn't seem to be the kind of player that you would franchise. Even if I like him, I don't think he's worthy of franchising him, though. So I think if you're going to make him available, it's because you've decided you're going to move on.
Yeah.
Hey, that renewable, rechargeable, get that chat right there, that statement, because that's pretty much the truth. But go ahead, Todd.
Call you Ragu.
I thought the last game of the season, he's pretty fucking physical with the tackle. Great.
Go ahead. What you got, Todd?
I will, Ragu. Give me a second, Ragu. Hold on a second here. No, I think that if you're going to bring back, I thought before the season started that Jalen Johnson would be a better fit in this scheme. As the season precluded and he was injured, and we saw other players come in and step in his place, such as Jalen Jones, some of the other rookies, Blackwell. I mean, depends what the asking price is. Do you have to resign him right now? can you let him play out the final season and then go from there?
Yeah.
What's his terms going to be? Is it going to be a UDFA so you control the rights? If so, then I would say that just let him play out the contract in this next year in this defense. See what they can put around him to see what other value he adds to the team with his style of play. If they can, go out and sign a Daron Payne and then maybe draft a player, they can trade down a bunch of time. The free agency period of this offseason is the first part. That's why it's so premature to start talking about draft shit before we even get to free agency, because we don't know who the Bears are going to sign. And it all comes down to who they sign in free agency. And if Jalen Johnson is one of those players that they extend, I would be okay with that, because I think he's still ascending, but he might have had, if anything, a little bit of a hiccup learning a new defense, in this new scheme. And I'm not going to fault him for that. He is a leader on this team for sure. So I think that if the price is right, if you have to sign him this year before he goes into the final year of his contract, then let's talk about what the numbers are, as opposed to what we sign in free agency and maybe what we get in the draft, and go from there. I think that's my opinion.
Somebody just asked me who I like at defensive end and free agency. I like Lorenzo Carter from Atlanta, but I'll talk to you about that later in another show.
Guy that Bears were supposed to draft. A lot of people liked him to draft him when he was coming out.
He's a much improved player now that he's in Atlanta. It's like the maturity just hit him all of a sudden, and he just came into who he's supposed to be as a player. It doesn't always happen on your first team. It may happen on
Aguire leave already. Did Dan Aguire leave already?
I don't know.
I think he's.
But
I didn't get to say goodbye.
Yeah, but I think
I got to bounce soon.
Lorenzo Carter's a much better player than he was even in New York. He's just been in Atlanta for I don't know how long, but I would go for that guy. But as far as the Jalen Johnson conversation goes, I'll speak to you from the position that I played, the same position as Jalen Johnson. The way you think as a cornerback, you have to be cocky. You have to believe in your head and in your heart that you are the best player on that field without question. And he does. You know what else? He's going to want that kind of money. You know what else? Triple R is right. That guy did not excel at taking the ball away, and that's what this defense covets. Eberflus wants guys that take the ball away.
Yep.
Do I think they will have a problem with moving on from Jalen Johnson? I do not. I'll tell you why. Because if they've proven anything through this year, this bad season that we just had, they've proven that they can recruit, sign, and coach up defensive backs. If you know nothing, you know that they can coach up defensive backs. Yep. I think they are very good in that department. I think they won't have a problem with letting Jalen Johnson go, especially if he's asking for, Jalen Ramsey type of money, which he's probably going to ask for. Let him go. Get you another guy and coach him up.
So these are some great points, Nomad. I still think, quarterbacks did not throw to his side of the field as often as they did to the other side. That's a fact.
Sell high,
but
you sell high.
Yeah, I'm with you. But the thing is that, and I agree. I feel like most the successful NFL teams, for the most part, have guys in the pipeline ready to go just in case of the situation exactly like this. We don't, because the last GM and GM4, there's been so many mistakes since 2010, the last time the Bears were in the playoffs, as far as how the team was managed, both the salary cap and draft picks and whatnot. But I can't disagree with you, and I can't disagree with Cliff's point is don't make any more holes, which I've always been saying, because with the Bears, it's kind of an epidemic of always having more holes than we can fill every off season.
Mm-hmm.
I think, to be honest with you, and I understand that way of thinking, that, don't create another problem where there is none.
Yep.
I get that. Also, just to consider, you guys. Think about this. Jalen Johnson, and I watched him really closely. He struggled when it came to trailing. What I mean by trailing is staying in phase with really fast receivers. He was humping out there, and he wasn't keeping up all the time. He was lucky.
Doesn't have the long speed.
No, he does not. He does not. I think, be honest with you, and I love Jalen Johnson. I think he's a hell of a fucking football player.
Yeah, a good player.
I think if you're in the draft and you're on draft day and you can approach a Detroit and say, hey, we got this guy. I know you guys need corners. You definitely need a shutdown corner.
Yeah.
What do you think about this guy? I definitely think you consider it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think nothing would be off the table as far as this draft is concerned. I mean, really. I mean, there's so many options that this team can go with. Why skimp on that, right?
You need capital, man. We need guys. We need a volume of guys, and we can't fall in love with a player because we love as Bears fans. We love our guys. We fucking love our guys, except Sam Mustipher, I guess. But we love our guys. And
that kind of goes back to the previous show last week. Is Justin Fields on the trading block then? Because if anybody,
stop that, man. Just stop that right now. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. But yeah, I think you consider it if you're sitting there in the draft and you got options on the table. I don't think you remove that from the table at all.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, you listen to everything that comes to your way when you have the position that we have. I mean, if you can trade a Jalen Johnson because you have confidence in a Jalen Jones that maybe that could pick up the slack from where he picked up off last year as a rookie. You have confidence in Kyler Gordon. You can maybe pick up another player in free agency and or the draft.
Yeah,
if they can somehow land like what's his name from Penn State, the son of a cornerback. What the fuck is his name? I'm completely at a loss of words. But
say it again. I want to be able to help you.
The cornerback, who is the son of a cornerback. He's the Penn State cornerback. He's
Sertain or Stingley.
Talking about Joey Porter.
Joey
Porter. Okay, coming out.
He's the son of a linebacker.
Yep.
Oh, sorry,
linebacker son. Yep.
But he doesn't have that lightning speed like Jalen Johnson doesn't have, but he's an excellent cover corner. If you can pick someone up like that just to replace him with and maybe trade him away to get a couple picks from in that trade scenario where you can pick up someone like a Joey Porter plus other picks, defensive line, like a Trenton Simpson, like you've talked about before. Like there's a lot of ways we can go in this draft. It's fucking exciting, man.
Quarterback's a premium position. That's why it's always like a high round pick, like left tackle, cornerback, quarterback, wide receiver. Those are like the ones that you ain't getting any better unless you spend a high draft pick on guys like that. And the Bears, with the number one overall draft pick, Nomad, they might have a chance to get a premium position, whether it be cornerback or tackle or defensive lineman, edge rusher. Yeah, multiple. So this might be a year where if that's the best player there, they strike.
If you look at the draft in retrospect, go back and look at the draft over the course of the years. It's not all the top 10 picks are not all first fire hits. I mean, they're not. The players come from late first round, early second, middle second, early third. When you can trade back and get a boatload of those extras in those rounds, that's where you build your team.
Todd, listen. You got to think like a GM, and these guys think 5 years down the road,
right?
7 years down the road. Sometimes 5 years down the road, you're thinking that, right? You already probably come with the conclusion that you're probably not going to sign David Montgomery for various reasons. But you're going to have to pick and choose who you do sign and who you don't. Let's just say you're in a conundrum between who you want to sign between Jalen Johnson and let's say number 11. I forget it. I started drinking. I'm having a brain fart. But Darnell Mooney. Now, what are you gonna do if you have to make that choice? Who are you gonna sign?
Darnell Mooney.
Tooch.
I was on mute. Sorry. Huh. I've got the wife and babe. My wife's leaving for work soon.
All right, you have a bus?
A bus soon, yeah. What was the question again? Sorry.
Are you keeping Mooney or Jalen Johnson?
Man, that's tough, man. Because they're like equally important, you know.
I love
they're
the
both
question,
they're both up the same contract, right? They both have 1 year left, right?
They're both as important
that's a conundrum, man. This is how GMs think. You talking about 5 years down the line, and if you're gonna sign one of those two guys, and it's a toss up between the two of them.
I think Nomad was on the right track where Jalen Johnson's going to be a lot more expensive to sign. So you keep
it also comes it comes down to this draft too, right? What's the premium position in this draft? Is there a lot of wide receivers?
There's a lot of wide receivers. Yeah.
Okay, so then maybe you would want to forego the wide receiver, signing to draft one, and let Mooney go.
I got news for you. There's much more secondary help in the draft than there is receiver. I promise you that. I've been studying.
Yeah, they're both good this year. Yep.
Yeah. So maybe you let Johnson go because you can go get a Joey Porter with a multiple trade down.
I tell you, man, tight end is great this year.
Oh God, I know.
If the Bears want to add like another receiving threat. Man, there's some good tight ends out there this year.
Darnell Washington from Georgia has me hard.
Yeah.
To your point, my goodness, I was sold. Is a tight end from Oregon State, Musgrave. I think is his name, Luke Musgrave. I was sold on him, and then this is I've been taking my time studying all these guys. Dalton Kincaid fell into my radar. I dug in. Oh my goodness. He's so good. I mean, I'm looking at all the tight ends and comparing them to Travis Kelce because that's the kind of guy that we don't have on the team. We don't have the really good hips, wiggly hips guys that can beat guys in one-on-one routes.
Smart, understands the passing game.
Yes, and then I studied him, and I'll be honest with you. Let's just say we took a receiver in the first or second round. I wouldn't be mad if that's the first one they grab. That's how much I think of him. Even with Jalen Hyatt on the fucking board.
Yeah.
I agree, man.
There's some great ones this year, coming out.
Someone to pair with Komet would be
dangerous.
I'm in love with Darnell Washington. I can't get over him. He's the guy that I want at tight end.
He's just a monster. He's just a big dude.
Beast.
He's a big dude, man, and you can't fall in love with that. Once you look at the tape and study him, there's a lot of upside there. There's a lot of upside. He's a huge human being with a lot of upside, but you can't get wrapped up into how big he is because that doesn't always translate well in the meat of a football game. You need guys that can win one-on-one when you got a linebacker on you and a safety on you. You need a guy that can win one-on-one. Darnell Washington, as big as he is, you're going to have to force the ball into him and hope he makes the catch. Dalton Kincaid, he can beat those guys.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Bears draft one and then sign an undrafted free agent or two at the position.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, I think I'll bet you they sign an undrafted free agent kicker as well, man.
I wouldn't doubt it.
We're going back down the kicker rabbit hole.
Maybe two. But yeah, I gotta bounce you guys though. I'm sorry.
Toochie, we love you.
We'll finish it up, man. Get out of here.
All right, brother. All right, my man.
Wait to see you go, my friend.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Take care of your family, my friend.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Toochie. I guess it's just my face on the screen now instead of yours, huh?
It's just you,
I
motherfucker.
have no one to share my face with now.
And man, don't think too much of it. Let's just give him some more raw meat before we get out of here. How about that?
All right, some fucking raw meat.
What you got on your mind? How about that? What you got on your mind?
Well, hold on a second. Dalton Kincaid, tight end. What's the team?
He's from Utah, I believe.
Utah. Okay, I'm writing all these guys down, just so you know.
Am I right? Chat. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. I think he's from Utah. I see so many players, man. I forget what team they're on.
Let me go looking up tight end here. Dalton Kincaid. He's from Utah. You are correct. 6'4", 240 pounds. He's the third-ranked tight end on the list here. I can pull it up.
I know you don't study. I know you don't sit here and study guys like I study them. But let me tell you something. You want to see? Thank you, Foster. I see that. Thank you, J Rock. If you want to see a guy that, and I keep comparing everybody to who I think is the best tight end that ever played, and Travis Kelce. You need that wiggle in your hips. You need to be able to win on a one-on-one and get separation. That's everything I've compared all the tight ends to in this draft. And he is by far the better player out of the whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
By far. If you want to take some time to look at it yourself, you'll see a little Travis Kelce there.
In Dalton Kincaid, right?
Dalton Kincaid.
Fuck, let me just see what I can do here. Maybe I can pull up some sneaky Dalton Kincaid film. Let's just see. I don't want to get us in trouble here.
Yeah, don't get dinged, man.
I don't want to get dinged here. Let's just see if I can give us like a preview of something. So let's go to the next play. Here we go. So he's a big ass white dude, huh?
He's pretty big. He's not that big, really, actually. He's just, that's the only problem I got with him, is he's gonna have to put on a little bit of bulk just to be able to absorb the hits.
I'm gonna try not to get in trouble here, so we're just gonna
He's tall. He's tall. 6'4" is all right.
Yeah, 6'4" is a good size for a tight end, man.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going downfield here. Oh, ouch. Look at that catch for a tight end.
It's what he does. It's what he does in between the hashes that makes him special. Not that deep stuff. That stuff is fine when you got a play that breaks down, you know, and the quarterback is scrambling. He can get loose downfield. That's fine.
That is sexy, man. I see what you're saying about the Travis Kelce comparison.
He is nice.
Trying to pull up. Let's just go here really quick. Yeah, big dude. Catch radius.
He's one of those guys that basically make Patrick Mahomes wouldn't be Patrick Mahomes without a guy like Travis Kelce.
Fuck no, he would not be.
When plays break down, you need to have somebody out there that you trust, that can get open and can break loose, because you're going to have so many unscripted plays during a game. You know, you think you got this or that set up, but the play breaks down more times than not, and you have to make something happen on the fly. Who do you trust out there? You know what I mean?
That's your go-to guy, man. That's Mahomes' go-to guy. Period.
That's what you
That's
need.
why they were able to trade fucking Tyreek Hill away, because they knew he was Mahomes' main target, you know?
And I love, and you guys don't ever think that I'm trying to slight Cole Kmet. I'm not. I love Cole Kmet. Just his sheer toughness. Just that alone, man, I fall in love with Cole Kmet. But Cole Kmet has a ceiling. He is limited. He's not going to win one-on-one situations with a slot corner or safety or a linebacker. You're going to have to force the ball into Cole Kmet. He's more like Gronk than he is Travis Kelce. Basically, Tom Brady forced the ball into Gronk. This is where Cole Kmet is. He's just not as athletic as you would prefer him to be, but you can counter that by putting another really athletic tight end alongside of him and make both of them make each other better.
Mm-hmm. I agree. 100% This is a guy that if you just paired him next to Komet, ooh, sick. Here we go.
And they like to our team likes to run a lot of double tight end, getting a heavy set and run play action off of that. You got problems when you got Komet that can pretty much, he can command some presence. And you got Dalton Kincaid who can really command some presence. One of those guys is going to get open.
Mm-hmm. And Foster Cover says, Nomad, I'm with you. I originally didn't care for the Komet pick, but the guy's got heart.
He's tougher than the $2 fucking steak, man. You got to give that to him. He's tough as shit.
We said that perfectly at the same time.
What?
And he's fucking from Chicago. You know he does. There's nobody who wants to succeed more than him. He's like, fuck, I actually got drafted to a team that now has a quarterback. This is amazing.
One of my old coaches was it was a tight ends coach with Atlanta. I ain't gonna say when, but he was a tight ends coach with Atlanta, and I got the privilege to go down the Flowery Branch where they train. It's their practice facility, and that's the nicest thing I ever seen in my life was their practice facility. That shit's off the chain nice. But he's always telling me some kind of, he's giving me a nugget every time I talk to the dude. And he said, man, there is nothing in football more important offensively than a very versatile tight end. Mm-hmm. And this is when Tony Gonzalez was there. Mm-hmm. And I took that. What's that?
You have to have that.
If you want a dynamic enough offense, you have to have a versatile tight end. Mm-hmm. Tony Gonzalez was not a person I considered to be versatile as a tight end. He was more Cole Kmet than Travis Kelce, trust me. But I don't know how. This is just his savvy and his ability to be able to create just a little separation to get the trust of that quarterback. And he was money with his hands. He was so money. Anything that touched his hands, he grabbed it. And that's reassuring when you're a quarterback and trying to run an offense in the NFL. Shit's going to break down, but you got to have your guy out there that can make catches and make plays for you in late downs.
I love what Michael Henman says here. We should have been way better at play action with how well we ran the ball. We need to improve in that area big time. Great point, Michael Henman.
What's that? What do you say again?
We should have been way better at play action with how well we ran the ball. We need to improve in that area big time. That's a great point.
Well, Justin was the most dominant running back that we had. The running backs weren't really dominant this year, so that kind of went to the wayside. That's why I think we definitely should not sign David Montgomery. Our bell cow running back was not effective in the run game when it came to that. If you go back to the early part of the season, especially the first 4 games, you will notice that they were really pushing that play action that you guys are talking about. And guess what? David Montgomery was not dynamic. He was stopped. And the rollout, they didn't respect that. They didn't respect David Montgomery with the ball, so they were preparing for the rollout. And so they pushed the edge up and try to stop Justin because he was the more dominant runner. That's why you shouldn't sign David Montgomery. He's just not dynamic enough.
I agree. Foster Covers, Short Todd. I'd like to say fuck you, but I love you, Foster Covers, so I won't say fuck you.
you just gonna pull up questions here? Let's do it.
Yeah, let's fucking pull up some questions here, man. We're at the end of the show here. You want to talk about some movies in a minute or not?
Let's roll with the chat. Let's see what they talk about.
So we got let's see, Cliff saying build from the inside out, fix the lines and free agency in the draft, and then go for skilled players.
Yeah. Pretty much that's it, Cliff. You just smacked a home run right there.
Yep.
That's what we got to do. You don't win in this game unless you are dominant in the trenches. I don't give a shit how you look at it. You can say we need this here, we need that there, we need all these bells and whistles that every team needs. But the first thing you got to fucking do if you want to win a game of football is be dominant in the trenches on both sides of the ball. Period, point blank. That's the end of it. If you're not that, you're going to be a mediocre to lower mediocre team in this league.
Bear Truth has a question for you. Nomad, thoughts on tight end from Atlanta?
Talking about number 8, I forget that guy's name because I'm drinking. Kyle Pitts. I wasn't that high on him when he came out of Florida. I think he can be dynamic. I'm not sold on him. I'm just going to be honest with you guys.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure either. I'm not. I mean, I live there and I haven't paid enough attention to him. So he apparently hasn't stood out enough that we're all talking about Kyle Pitts at this point. So
I think he's the measurables king. He's the measurables, God. But I think measurables don't translate all the time when you're on a football field. You have to be a playmaker. Not only that, you have to be dependable and durable. And the last two things I just said, dependable and durable, so far I have not seen, and that would have been my question mark about him coming out in the first place.
There's been a lot of people talking about Jahmyr Gibbs, the running back from, what is it?
Jahmyr Gibbs, a bad boy.
I haven't done studying on him yet because I've said before that this is like way too premature for me to get into scouting college players yet because we still have to get through free agency. But everyone's been talking about Jahmyr Gibbs, and so I'm going to have to say that he should be someone just based on that the Bears should be high on.
It's Jahmyr.
Jahmyr? Okay.
Sorry. Jahmyr Gibbs. He's probably, if I had to if I had to rate the running backs right now, my top 3 would probably be easily Kendre Miller 1, Jahmyr Gibbs 2, and I don't know, man. Don Burr turned me on to a guy that I wasn't paying that much attention to. I forget his name right now. But there's another guy at Tulane I really like too. Can't think of his name. But yeah, everybody's crazy about Bijan Robinson. I ain't, man. I'm sorry. I think he's just a name that everybody repeats. That played in a pretty good system with a decent offensive line. I think he's a little overrated, just to be honest with you. And that's just my opinion. It's not the facts about him. This is what I think.
Is it the Tajay Spears?
Tajay Spears.
Okay, there you go. 21 years old. 195 pounds. What's his 40?
Who we talking about? Spears?
Yeah.
Oh, he's not lightning fast. He's got decent speed. He's running no less than a 4.5.
He's 4.4.
Yeah. He's not lightning, but he's gonna play. He's gonna make some plays in the next level. I tell you, guy, you guys need to pay attention to is Tavion Thomas. Can't remember what school he's at, but he's probably about 6'3", 6'4", about 245. He's gonna make some noise. Might be 250.
Tavion Thomas from Utah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Utah. What's this right here?
He reminds me of the running back that fucking the Patriots had that won 2 straight championships. Forget that dude's name.
6'2". It's a big dude.
He's bigger than that.
That running back, damn.
He's bigger than that. Trust me. And he's hungry. This dude was not even a year ago. He was sleeping in his car with his kid.
Wow.
That's hunger. That's hunger.
That's hunger right there, man.
They gave him an opportunity to make. He had some opportunities early in his right out of high school, and he fucked them up just like kids do. They fuck up. Kids fuck up, and they realize that they really fucked up, and now they want to redeem themselves. And Utah caught him right at the right time. I'm telling you, that dude's he's gonna tear shit up.
Bear Truth has a question. Nomad, who's the guy you want in free agency to sign in a scenario where the guys you want hit free agency?
The first guy I want, and I don't think he's ever going to hit free agency, is DeForest Buckner. If we can get him somehow, I don't know how that magic scenario plays out, but DeForest Buckner, number one. Number two, get Josh Jacobs. Get your bell cow running back. So when you do run those play actions, they got to respect the run game, because that motherfucker can get up dead out of his bed in the middle of his night and get 5 yards of carry. Straight up. He's going to average 4 to 5 yards every time he touches the ball. You got to have that for people and teams to respect the run game. Get that dude locked up. Get the offensive line squared up. Get you a piece like Andre Dillard or Isaac Siamulu, both from Philadelphia. You need to get one of those two guys in free agency. Get on the other side of the ball. Go ahead.
Cliff brings up a good point here that he mentioned before. Don't forget that the Bears have the first waiver on anyone dropped in the offseason. That's huge. It is. Yeah. They have the first waiver wire.
That's called priority.
That's huge, guys.
That's called priority in the free agent in the waiver wire. That's why I said that last show that we did, the stars were aligned.
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Everybody thinks this free agency class and the waiver wire and the free agency class are one and the same kind of, but the guys are going to hit the waiver wire before they hit free agency. Mm-hmm. And we're number one. We're right there at the pecking order to get the first pick of anything out there.
It's going to be amazing.
You're talking about stars. It's guys that you're not even considering. That with coaching changes and teams switching coordinators and things like that, teams moving from a 3-4 to a 4-3 and vice versa, all that's going to create turnover. So it's guys that we're not even discussing and talking about that are going to hit the market and going to be up for grabs. It's guys that everybody are not even thinking about.
And J-Rock says, how is a 30-year-old Buckner over a Daron Payne? I think he's like 26, Daron Payne.
I can find Daron Payne, but I can't find a Buckner.
So you're saying he is that much more special?
Oh, absolutely. Just because of his length and his force. DeForest Buckner is he's a unicorn in this league. The only thing in the league that has anything in comparison to DeForest Buckner is the guys that play in San Fran, and they're under contract. Anything else, he is an absolute unicorn out there in the free agent market, or if he ever hits it.
But Payne could hit it. So
Daron Payne, in comparison to what Buckner can do versus Daron Payne, to me, there's no
better
nothing.
signing.
No.
Yeah,
Buckner is easily the guy you want.
there's questions. This chat is blowing up still, man. Let's get
This is what they wanted to talk about, man. What you thought?
Michael Henneman, the only break the Bears got this season was Lovey and the Texans not being on the same page. Yeah. We beat them the first game, or the game that we played them, and then we lost at the end of them, right?
They just basically D'Amico Ryans is a young Lovey. He's a younger Lovey.
D'Amico Ryans he's enough. I'm kind of worried about him.
I ain't.
He's in the AFC, so I'm not, but he could. When I say that, I mean he could be a really good head coach.
He's gonna, and I guarantee you, and he's gonna pilfer the shit out of San Fran's defense. He's gonna get his guys over there, and I guarantee you, in 2 years that defense is gonna be humming. And to win in this league, you have to be dominant on that side of the ball. Anybody doubt that doesn't know football.
And Bear Truth says, thoughts on Ryan has on draft. I'm not sure what that question means. Could you rephrase that, please, Bear Truth? Does that make sense to you, Nomad? Thoughts on Ryan has on draft.
Ryan. Who's he talking
Ryan.
about? D'Amico. You talking about D'Amico Ryans? I think he's talking about D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah.
It's I was thinking about that today and thinking about is he gonna his presence, and I think he's talking about the pick that the Houston Texans might want to make. I think what he's saying is, are they gonna go after a quarterback and stay at that and move out of that spot, or are they gonna stay at that spot and go after somebody like Deron Payne? That's interesting.
That's a great question, Bear Truth.
I think that's what he's saying.
Yeah, what kind of influence is D'Amico Ryan going to have on this draft of this? So if they retained Lovie Smith, I think we would all kind of have a little bit of, based on our experience with Lovie Smith, where the Texans might go in the draft, because we've seen Greg Gabriel say himself that Lovie Smith wanted Cedric Benson over Aaron Rodgers. So if he was still the head coach, would it come down to someone that he chose? Maybe he favored a Texan over a certain player from a different school or whatnot. That's a great question, because what are the new thoughts on the new head coach of D'Amico Ryan going to have on the Texans as opposed to this draft as it pertains to the Bears? Are they going to want to trade up one pick to ensure they get that quarterback that they want? Or does D'Amico Ryans put him into more of a defensive-minded position where they're going to just sit there and wait for the best defensive player to fall to them?
Well, there's a couple of clues. He signed a 6-year contract, which gives him some leeway and some time.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, 6 years. However, he won't get that 6 years if they don't get the right quarterback to really start seeing progress. Be honest with you, and I hate to take it there, he's a black coach in the NFL, and they don't get as much time. It's just the truth about it. But that's why I would lean towards Bear Truth. Not I would lean towards no. I think he's got to get the quarterback first and start building. I think he's got to do that and give the fan base and the ownership something to put the kickstand down on and say, okay, we're on the right path, to give him that time to build this.
But he's bringing up a good question. Would he want to put himself on the clock with a QB or build a team and then try to pick up a quarterback maybe in a couple of years or in a year or so?
If it's me, I don't give a shit how dominant you think Will Anderson and Jalen Carter are. Right now, we need to get a quarterback to change this franchise around, put a face on it. We traded the face of our franchise because of whatever reasons you had with Watson. We got to get another face of our franchise. We got to give the fan base, the ownership, those are the people that are in his ear, telling him, hey man, look, we got tickets to sell, we got merchandise to sell, we need a face of this franchise, and we need to know we're on the right path. And you can't do that with a Will Anderson and a Jalen Carter. You need a quarterback.
Fucking agree with you, Mr. Englewood 77. That's why Lovie Smith is unemployed. He should have backed Thomas Jones and drafted Aaron Rodgers. For fuck's sake. He would still be the Bears quarterback if he did that. Goodness. Silly draft decisions there in 2005, 2006.
I just saw somebody in there say that they will want Anthony Richardson. Wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if some people felt that way either. I mean, there is a group of the fan base who feel that we still don't know what we have, and it might be time to maybe trade down, pick up some extra picks, get a quarterback with that, and see what we have. I don't agree with that. I'm just saying that there is a fan base collective out there that do believe that that's.
Wait a minute, say that again.
maybe picking up another quarterback in this draft, trading Justin Fields, and we've talked about this before. I mean, we don't agree with it, but there is a collective of the fan base that believes that this team should move on and pick up while we have this opportunity, go for another quarterback and trade Fields and get a boatload of picks from him instead. And
Okay.
I know it's ridiculous. I'll let you go. Go ahead.
I didn't think I was gonna have to knife you on the Bare Their Souls ever. I didn't think I was gonna have to knife you in front of the
I'm
whole.
just fucking. Hey, listen.
I'm gonna knife you. I'm gonna knife you,
fucking
and you're
just
gonna
being-
accept it. And you're gonna
I am
accept it.
Just
This is a Will Levis fan, and he's fallen in love with fucking Will Levis, and he's willing to trade the franchise for Will Levis because the motherfucker has a quick release. Because he has a quick release. This is why we should have stopped Bears Country podcast so we can have these fucking fights. I told you fucked up when you did that. Told you. He wants Will Levis because he has a quick release.
I do not.
He's gonna trade the franchise.
No, I do not want Will Levis. I'm just saying he has a super quick release and a cannon for an arm. That could be the pick that we're trying to trade away to some other team for is Will Levis.
I told y'all he's a traitor. I'm telling y'all right now. Todd is a traitor.
Todd is a traitor. Hey, I'm running this fucking show. I can remove you. There we go. It's just me now. I'm going to talk to you guys, okay? I don't love Will Levis. I think that I do love Will Levis, but I think the reason why I love him is because he has a chance to build up the draft board to where it becomes something that the Bears can trade multiple picks for to a team that wants that guy. I'm going to bring you back in now, Nomad, just to show you that I have power here.
Light his ass up on Twitter. Tear his ass off. Tear his ass off. Tag him. Do whatever you need to do. Tear his ass up. I ain't defending your ass no more.
I'm not allowed to fucking pontificate.
I ain't doing it with you.
Not allowed to pontificate, guys. There's no pontificating allowed here.
You better be glad you ain't in Chicago. They'll be tearing
Will
your ass
Levis
up.
can eat dirt.
You better be glad you live in Georgia. Get your ass at Benny's. They'll be tearing your ass up. Mariota's, wherever.
Lies.
Mariana's,
No,
I
man,
mean.
you just outed Shorty's Will Levis bias.
What is it? Just say it, man. You turn into a fair weather fan. You turn into a fair weather fan.
Fair weather fan. I just pose pontificating questions. That's all. I like to pontificate. I philosophize. These are not my own personal thoughts. They're just questions. My good people. Oh, look. Son Taurus is saying he's pontificating, saying sign Mariota to back Fields. That's a pontification. Fuck that. But it's a great pontification, Son Taurus.
That's like trading a Lamborghini for a Hyundai because you like the dashboard in the Hyundai.
Foster Covers, if you could draft Fields but only get a 2-year contract, would you take him?
Wait. What? If you can do
Foster
what?
Covers says if you could draft Fields but only get a 2-year contract, you take him. I do for sure. Sorry, I read that wrong.
I'm taking him however many years I can get him. I'm not trying to be over the top with the Justin Fields fandom like everybody else is. I just look at the tape. I look at the tape and I see truly a rookie quarterback basically is what he is. It's because he did not get a fair shake his rookie year. This is his rookie season.
I agree.
In a new offense, and I expected to see what I saw. A struggling quarterback with a struggling offensive line and struggling receivers in his first year as a rookie quarterback in a new offense. You got what you were supposed to see. Towards the middle and the end of the season, I saw him grasp that offensive concept and really, really become a performer in it. I seen a different quarterback towards the end of the season, and I think the ceiling, I think he just raised it. To be honest with you,
I agree. Michael Henman says Fields is our guy. Let's build around the young man. I agree, 100%. I'm just pontificating. I'm posing questions just to get you guys all fucking scrappy, and it worked. It works every time.
Justin Fields is a man. If we can talk about his skill set, we can talk about what we've seen and what we didn't see. The stuff that is important about Justin Fields is stuff that you can't.
Right.
The stuff that you can't measure with a ruler. He's got that thing going on inside of him that you can't buy. That motherfucker is a competitor. And he is gonna find ways to make plays and win games, and we're gonna love him for that shit. Because he's gonna have a whole lot more talent around him this year than he had last year. Trust me.
All right. So I like what Matt Kedro says here. Guys, if we give him this year, no matter what happens, we need him to either win or fail. If he wins, then he's the guy we think he is. If not, then we draft another quarterback in 2024. The rest is noise. But isn't that why it's so important to make sure that you get draft capital next year from this draft? So no matter what you do, if you're going to trade down in this year's draft, you have to make sure that you pick up at least another pick in next year's draft, because at the very least, if we end up here at the end of next season with the same exact stats, let's just say, from Justin Fields, then next year with those stats, the fan base is going to go, well, he's the same fucking guy he was last year. He's not going to get any better than this. We should have done this or that with that pick in the draft. I'm just pontificating. I'm just playing along to what Matt is saying here. So if you traded a bunch of picks and then you ended up with another pick in next year's draft, and then Justin Fields had 1,000+ yards rushing and the same passing stats, and he was the same quarterback all over again next year, I just want to know, and what would everyone in chat here, including you, Nomad, what would you think if by the end of next season we're sitting here with the exact same stats from Justin Fields, and we had the first pick in the draft, but we chose to trade it away for a boatload of other picks that we did build the team with. However, Justin Fields remained the same. How would you feel about? Let's just go into the future. How would you feel about that?
Let's just, for the sake of your argument and for the sake of, I know that most people out here in this chat, Bears fans are pessimistic because of history. History has made them pessimistic, and they're tortured and they're traumatized. They don't even realize it. For the sake of pessimism, which I am not a guy like that, okay, let's say he fails. You can move up and get Caleb Williams in the next draft. All is not lost. But I believe that our pessimism leads us towards a lot of, it leads you away from a lot of optimistic things that I've seen about Justin Fields that you choose not to focus on. People get wrapped up in social media and get wrapped up into the herd that wants to, okay, what if Justin doesn't work? And what if he does this? And what if he doesn't do that? And everybody gets caught up into that, and they're antsy and they're anxious about whether or not he's going to be successful or not. So that's why you see such iffy fandom about Justin Fields. They don't 100% believe in him yet. And I don't blame them. But take it from a guy that studies football and watches this shit to probably too much. The guy has something that you can't measure. And when you put talent around that, just wait. Just hold on.
Imagine if he had a Jamar Chase as his wide receiver. What the fuck would we be talking about now?
Everybody thinks Joe Burrow is the creme de la creme when it comes to these young quarterbacks, and it's hard to argue that he's not. But if you look at Joe Burrow's tape, he has elite, not good receivers, not very good receivers. He has elite receivers, and so they make plays for him. He throws a lot of, I would say, all the tape that I've seen on Joe Burrow, he throws most of his successful footballs are 50-50 balls, where his receivers go up and make that play. And so it's not like he's making incredible throws and developing plays off script and making these wild Patrick Mahomes type throws. He's not doing any of that. He's throwing that ball into danger, and his receivers are making him look good. I think Joe Burrow is great, but I don't think his receivers get enough credit. I'll just put it to you that way.
I could not agree more. Fucking Chase Brown is a generational talent at wide receiver. And you could put him on any team and he would make that quarterback better. I'm a big proponent of someone who I believe that a quarterback makes the wide receivers better. But in that case, I think it's equal. I mean, Jamar Chase is a fucking transcendent talent. He's not only an excellent route runner with fucking elite speed, but he also has elite hands. His catching ability, his catching radius, his route running skills, his speed, everything is absolutely fucking elite. If you were to put Jamar Chase on the Bears next year, that would immediately turn Justin Fields into a championship team that he'd be playing for with a chance for the Super Bowl. I mean, I truly believe that. He needs someone around him. He does need that. It's 100% true.
I'm just want to let the chat know we're in the overtime for you guys because you guys are keeping us in the game because you're hungry for this
you
stuff.
guys are, man. You guys are killing it over here.
Mr. Inglewood, man. Mr. Inglewood made a point of they're talking about how Dak needs more help in Dallas. You know what, man? They have everything they need in Dallas. I have believed this for a while. And I'll let you guys know about my secret Cowboys fandom on the last show on the Can of Whoop Ass.
Yeah, you did, you know.
And hold on, man. Hey, listen.
Fan.
They have the right pieces in place. They had the wrong coordinator. And I think they've had the wrong coordinator for a long time. I think Kellen Moore was basically Jason Garrett 2.0. They had Jason Garrett there too long running that basic. All they run is curls and deep outs. Really, it's all they do, and it's easy as a defender to defend that. That shit is vanilla as fuck, and it made Dak look worse than he is. If Dak gets a more dynamic play caller into that system, they are going to be a much different team. They needed to get rid of Kellen Moore because Kellen Moore ain't what no more than Jason Garrett carried on because Jerry Jones believed in him. You know, it's the same shit.
Well, he was a big candidate for being a head coach there at one point too.
Ooh, Kellen Moore or Jason Garrett?
Kellen Moore, yeah.
Man, Kellen, that shit he out there running. Look at Mr. Inglewood. It's just curls. It's all it is curls and outs, timing routes. It's all it is. It's easy to sit on those routes as a defender, man. It's so predictable. I can't even explain to you in the little time we got left how predictable that shit is. That shit is garbage. They should have been they probably would have won at least 2 or 3 Super Bowls by now had they got a more dynamic play caller, like say a Sean Payton or somebody like that before all of this happened. But I think their window is closed.
Who they had in their lap too, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Instead, they went for what the hell's his name? Who's gone now?
What are you talking about?
Quarterback. The Cowboys. Their backup quarterback who became their head coach.
Oh, Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
Man, that's why I'm not a Cowboys fan no more, man. That buddy system that Jerry Jones does, fuck all that shit, man.
Man, first off, let's talk about it. How the fuck could you be a Cowboys fan and then be a Bears fan? Come on.
My uncle, man. My favorite uncle. I grew up with my grandparents. That's a whole story I could tell you about later. But my uncle Keith, man, he was a Cowboys fan, and he was my favorite. And whatever he liked, I liked. He liked the fucking Cowboys. He liked the Philadelphia Phillies. He liked the Philadelphia 76ers. And that's who I liked. And it grew on me for a while. It's just I had to grow out of that shit, man. Really, I'm ashamed of myself for loving the Dallas Cowboys so much.
So what was it? So for like Dan Aguire, he grew up loving Jim McMahon and 85 Bears. So what was it that got you into took you over as a Bears fan over the Cowboys?
Cowboys were never over the Bears.
Oh,
ever,
okay.
Ever. That was another team that I liked.
Bear Truth says, good call out, Shorty. I agree. You can't be a Bears fan if you're. How could you be a fan of another team if you're a Bears fan?
That's just like, you're going to be a Cubs fan or you're going to be a Sox fan, or do I have to have a choice?
You have to have a fucking choice.
No, you don't.
I'm a Cubs fan.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
I beat up a few Cubs fans, but I respect them.
Well, hold on a second. Dallas and Chicago are in the same conference, though, man. It's not like so. Like when I moved to Colorado, everyone there was like, "You got to be a Broncos fan," and the Peyton Manning had just come there, and they were about to win their first Super Bowl, and I was like, I can't be a fucking fan of any other team. And I thought for a second, well, I live here now, and they're shoved in my face everywhere that I go, and they're blue and they're orange, and the Broncos begin with a B and end with an S, and they're in the AFC. So I guess I could become a Broncos fan if I had to force myself to become a fan of another team. I guess I could, because the Broncos, BS, orange, blue, AFC, cool, it works. But fuck, the Cowboys, America's team before the Bears in the NFC? Come on, man.
It's been a long time, man. It was what it was when it was. But, what you gonna do?
Cowboys. Here you are, a Cowboys fan.
I hate those motherfuckers now. Especially now that I know what kind of dude Jerry Jones is. Fuck that dude. And his whole franchise. Shit.
If you have no idea how he feels about Jerry Jones, just watch last week's show for the Nomads kind of whoop ass. We didn't have
Jerry
that.
Jones. Jerry Jones is a piece of shit that has brought bad karma on his own fucking organization. Mm-hmm. He is a piece of crap. He is. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is.
I agree. Oh man, so do the fans here in chat. You guys are awesome. We love you guys. Nomad found himself. Bear Truth says,
I never lost myself, man. Dude, there is no bigger Bears fan than me. I don't know if.
Oh no, I've never been a Cowboys fan, so I think I account for a bigger Bears fan than you.
It's weird, man. You would think me saying I'm a Cowboys fan as well as a Bears fan, you would think that that took away some of my fandom from the Bears. And hell no. I just like the Cowboys too. That's just, a lot of guys probably feel the same way about some other team. Like, I really like the Ravens. I always like the Ravens because of the way they play football. Hate the Steelers, but love the way they play football. I just love those tough, hard-nosed teams. And I think Matt Eberflus is building a team in that vein, that kind of team that's going to be competitive all the fucking time. I just do respect those teams. It's just the way it is, man. People just won't admit it.
Leo Feckner wants to know, what teams did you love first?
Oh, absolutely the Bears.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But then what made you drift to the Cowboys?
Seeing my uncle in his Cowboys gear when the whole house.
What year? 90s? Aikman era?
I mean, it was early. It was, let's just say, walking around my house, my grandparents' house, everybody was a Bears fan on Sunday wearing their gear, and this motherfucker would be the only motherfucker there walking around in Cowboy shit. And I'm like, damn, this motherfucker, he got the balls, and everybody in the house would be busting his ass. Just busting his ass. And I'm like, damn, that motherfucker got a lot of balls. I'm going to roll my uncle because he's getting picked on all over the house. And I'm the little guy running around. And so that's just how it happened. Mm-hmm. And so it was just me basically standing up for my uncle and fell into it.
Bear Truth says, I get it.
Yeah, right. You always going to be a Bears dude.
Slack here. A little bit.
Always.
A little bit slack.
I tell you this.
Hey,
if you were to
look at this, my friend. I have never changed fucking teams ever.
My
That's all I want
girlfriend,
to hear out of you.
when I met my girlfriend, her best friend, they were talking about me before I knew my girlfriend liked me. We were in the same workplace, kind of, right? Check this out, man.
Damn Detective L. Shorty. Hey, listen, I got the fucking Bears tattoo on here, man. I got the, look at this. I have a jersey on under my skin. That's why I have to be the detective here.
I wore so much Bear shit when I was living in Atlanta that they called me Bear before I knew she even liked me. That was my name in their fucking phone. That's what they called me. She showed me. We call you Bear. Why the fuck you call me Bear? Because every time I see you got something Bears on. That's nice. So if that tells you anything, there you go.
Hey, you're a Bears fan now. That's all that matters, my friend.
Shit. I don't have to. Ain't nobody a bigger Bears fan than me. I'll tell you that right now.
Come on.
No, you're not a fan. You're not a fan. You're not a fan. You're a fanatic.
That's what a fucking fan is. It's short for fanatic.
Big ass difference. Fan me.
Not a big ass difference.
Fanatic you. You be out there yelling at people, getting in fights in the fucking stadium and shit. You're a fanatic, man.
That's what a fanatic is. It's short for fan. Fan is a fanatic.
Nah, there's a difference between a fan and a fanatic.
Fan.
Every player will tell you it's great to be a fan, but don't be a fanatic, man.
Fucking
Fanatics go overboard.
Cowboys fan over here.
Fanatics, you'll fuck around and you'll go overboard. Did you see that Dallas Cowboys fan when they lost that game? He punched a hole in his TV.
No.
Tell me you didn't punch some walls and doors.
Definitely not a
okay.
TV.
You're a fanatic. You're a fanatic.
I know. I have a fucking. I just showed you my sleeve. That's what a fucking fanatic is, man. You Cowboys fan. You Cowboys fanatic. You.
I'm not tearing up my shit. I don't give a fuck what the Bears do or don't do.
Balls, dude. I'm just busting your balls.
I'm not tearing up my shit that I paid good money for. I'm not doing it over a win or loss in the Bears game. Fuck that shit.
Nomad, announce it like a pro. Foster covers. Grandfather Bears fan in 1922. Father Bears fan in 1931. Me Bears fan 1966. Nothing else. Thank you, Foster. And do you have one of these? Look, I'm just gonna wear it for the rest of the show.
Hey, did you see that?
I'm just telling you know what this means. Fucking Cowboy fan.
Hey, did you see that that video when Peanut Tillman was talking to the rookies this year?
Yes, I did. It was awesome.
The thing that was, if you really watch that, the thing that was stand out to you, even though the Blackhawks have won what they win 2 or 3 titles, right?
3 out of 4 or something. 3 out of 5.
Okay,
yeah.
They got 3 of them.
Yeah.
The Bulls have won 6, pretty much damn near straight,
almost in a row. Yeah.
And this is still a town that bleeds blue and orange.
In the fucking bleeds it. Look, it's not silver and blue.
It's a hell of a thing. Ain't nothing like this shit, man. There's nothing like this shit. You can go to Philly. I've been to Philadelphia. I've been to, and that's the other most crazy fan base I've ever seen, next to ours. Mm-hmm. They say Kansas City is like that, but I have not been out there to tell you that. But I can tell you for a fact, the Philadelphia doesn't bleed green and fucking gray. They bleed all kinds of colors because they like all their teams. This town bleeds blue and orange.
Right. Speaking of, could you imagine if that shithead mayor actually decided to bring a fucking AFC? Actually, I think the Bears have first right of refusal to another NFL team joining Chicago. But if for some reason, let's just say, they were actually able to bring a AFC Chicago team in, Oh boy, let's
this
talk
town can
about
carry it. This town can carry it, man. This city can
I don't
carry it.
think they
Man.
can. I don't think they can.
I think people see. I think people that way of thinking, just everybody gets so wrapped into tradition. And dude,
I would love to know what you guys think in chat here. Come on, another
expand your horizon, man. We can root for other teams,
in
man.
the NFL? No, not happening.
If they brought another NBA team, if they brought another NBA team, if they brought another NFL team, we would learn to love them over time. You don't compare them, you just enjoy them.
It would take so long for that to hit. It would take years of millennials to finally have one of them kick to where they would make friends with people and they would be like, look at this Chicago fucking whatever you want to call them, the Chicago horses or whatever the fuck. It would take years and years and years of people having children upon children and grandchildren for any one of them to give a fuck about anything but the Bears. It would be a complete waste of time.
That's what they thought about the Knicks and bringing another team to New York. Now look.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. It would take years and years.
It didn't take long. It didn't take long for New York.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I think you guys in chat would agree, though. Nomad uses the Force. Bear Truth says.
we gotta expand our horizons, man. We get so wrapped in tradition. We can't imagine the Bears not being on the lakefront and in that raggedy ass rat infested fucking Soldier Field. You can't imagine not being in a nice ass brand new fucking stadium that is not on the lakefront. Dude, imagine the possibilities instead of getting so wrapped in tradition. Like, I'm tired of those fucking rings around their legs for socks. Get those fucking socks out of here, man. Get that shit the fuck out of here. I'm tired of looking at it.
What about the you remember Jesus Christ, I can't remember. My co-host that I had on Wednesdays on BCP. Oh my goodness. What's her name? I'm completely losing my train of thought.
BCP. Right, you said BCP?
BCP, yeah.
Motherfucker, if it ain't me, then what the fuck you talking about?
I don't know. But my point is that the woman that I was working with on BCP, she hated the Bears fight song. What do you guys think about the Bears fight song? Lynn Hayden. I'm so sorry, Lynn.
She's not BCP.
She was on BCP with me. Lynn Hayden hates the fight song for the Bears. What do you think about the fight song for the Bears? Do you like it?
Never pay attention to it.
Bear down, Chicago Bears. It's time to fight our way to victory. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Put up a fight with a might so fearlessly. We never forget the way you thrilled the nation.
You asked me how I think about it.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Should they redo it?
I don't think shit about that goddamn thing. It's unnecessary. I mean, I know guys get into it in the stadium, but it's like shit to me. I don't give a fuck about it. That's great for fanfare, in the stadium when you want to get everybody all riled up. It's nothing to me, man.
I love it. Lynn Hayden hates the Bears fight song. She's like in her 60s. But
think about when they made that shit, man.
Yeah, it was fucking what? 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s? Like
That's it.
Like a 40 years ago they made that.
the more traditional teams in the league, like some of the flagship franchises like the Bears, Kansas City, Philly, they have those kind of songs. Where they just, you're not really gonna play that, are you? Don't do it. No,
I'm just trying to look up when it was made. Let's see, 1941. So it took 21 years for the Bears to be in the league for them to make that fight song.
I'd rather them make a new one, let Lil Jon make it or something. Like shot. Do something like that, man. Get that shit updated or something.
Pools, cars, and pussy. PCP. What's up, Foster Covers? Got some pool, cars, and pussy and PCP for us? What's going on, buddy?
Oh man. I'm gonna say that PCP comment for another time. I know somebody who got wet, man. It ain't never been the same, Jack. That's what they call PCP in the hood. They call it wet.
Not moist though, right?
Yeah,
Moist.
wet. No, Bear Truth 9 is laughing because I said let Lil Jon fix the fight song or whatever.
What do you think about the word moist? Is it a bad word?
No, they call guys that go the other way moist.
I've had people I said that just the word moist to, and they were like, "Oh, it's not."
You that's how you say it, man. When everybody gets mad at you, you can't say certain words, and so you had to adjust with the times. And if somebody asks me what I think about somebody, let's say we're in the club, and they point out a guy, and they ask me what I think about it, I just say I think he's a little moist. I mean, seriously, that's just what I do. I mean, I don't think that's offensive.
Moist.
Do you think that's offensive?
No.
I mean, shit, that's what I say.
But some people think the word moist is offensive because not the way that you were using it, but when you're saying like you're moist down there.
Well, I mean, traditional way of talking about moist.
It's like
moist is you can use it in different ways. I mean, but yeah, I mean, I don't know how we got here, but that's where we at.
St. Omni says, "Why is this still going?"
That's what I want to know. What the fuck what are we doing here?
Hey man, we're bearing our fucking souls here. This is bare their souls, guys. We should probably wrap this the fuck up though, huh?
Let's give him 5. Let's give him 5 more minutes. Let's close it up. Let's close it up. Give him a statement, man. I'll give you one at the end.
All right, guys. Any last questions that you guys have? Any comments you want to pull up? We're gonna go on for 5 more minutes here. You guys fucking pull up anything you want to say. We'll pull up your comments. We'll respond to them, and then we will get on our way. St. Omni just did 45 minutes on the stationary bike, and this is still going on. Well, at least you got your exercise in, unlike us.
Man, if we're not talking about the current events, about the trade scenarios and the free agency and the draft picks, they get disinterested, man. If we're not talking some ratchet shit, if we ain't talking about like some really ratchet shit, like my story about my college experience, they get disinterested, man.
I know. Well, Bear Truth says, "Am I a virgin?" No, no. I am married, and I do have sex with my wife, so I'm definitely not a virgin. So, who is sick of the draft already? Yeah,
nobody.
Well, it's because we're all blowing our fucking wad on the draft already, man. Let's just save the draft talk for when the draft talk is relevant. We still have to get through free agency, people.
You don't understand. I don't think you understand it, man. This is like a really, really serious football minded people. This is like Christmas to. I feel the same thing they feel. Mm-hmm. Now I'm just translating my thoughts and feelings to. I'm just scouring the country on all these little schools, big schools, medium-sized schools, and finding the talent so I can come report to these guys who I think they'll be targeting. So I'm just translating it into that. I share that same energy that they have.
I like what St. Omni says here. He says, "I am a born-again virgin."
Hey.
That was pretty loud how you said that, St. Omni. My God.
They say Jesus can do that for you. All you gotta do is pray.
3/4 of the guys on the Bears I think the Bears are going to suck. That's true. There's going to be a very large percentage of the draft picks that they get this year that are going to suck.
I think that's a terrible statement.
Maybe not. I mean, Poles did draft some good players this year that we still have high hopes on, like Jatire Carter and players like that.
I think that's a terrible statement. That is an absolute horrible statement. Put that back up. Please. Put that statement back up.
Guys, the Bears are going to pick are going to suck.
St. Omni, you're going to be glad. You'd be lucky if I don't open this can of whoop ass on you right now. Where the fuck you get off talking about 3/4 of the guys that we're going to pick against us?
Let's just shut that down. Hold on. Okay, next question.
All right. I almost did it.
Wait. Bear Tooch is saying, if I can't handle the smoke, I should stay out of the kitchen in the off season. Man, I don't even know what that means.
Because you're not that into the whole thing that they're into.
Oh no,
players and shit like that.
I'm just waiting for the moment to get my draft boner hard. That's all.
You're just not into studying players, and these guys are into it.
Studying players at the right moment. That's all. The fucking season's not even over.
It's not for everybody, man. This shit doesn't stop. This shit doesn't stop.
That's true. All right. So, Bear Truth, I'm going to get my ass in the kitchen. How about that? Okay? Just for you, buddy. I mean, the barroom has a lot of shit going on right now. I better get my shit into gear with this off-season stuff, right, guys? So you're right, Bear Truth. I will.
If you want to bring them quality content that will keep them engaged and keep their chat bumping, you better be knowing your shit on football players under this circumstance. We're in a position where we can get a lot of them, and you better know your shit.
I will. I promise you. I'll get my shit together on that.
There you go.
My goodness, people. Somebody has to be the idiot here. Where is Buffon 55? I think he's said that a couple times. I don't know. Good question. We'll have to ask Aldo about that.
Probably getting that vein in his neck fixed. That big ass vein he's got.
He's working out in the gym.
I'm fucking around, Buffon, man. I'm just bullshit.
So am I. That guy's a beast.
Don't whoop on me when you see me.
First I was like, what the fuck, huh? Like, what do you lift a Volkswagen every day for a living? What the fuck?
I've never seen that guy. Looks like he's taking a big one every time he talks.
I'm not sure if they did lead the network, St. Emney. I think that I'm not sure. That's a great question. I have no answer for that.
I think they cleared that up on their last show.
Okay.
I believe I watched the last show of the season. I think Aldo and him cleared that up.
Cool. Well, you guys in chat have been fucking awesome tonight. Seriously. Sticking around, giving us shit. We love talking with you guys. I love taking the shit that you guys have to offer to me. That's what I'm here for. It's been a blast hosting the show tonight in the absence of the great Podfather Aldo. He's going to be back with some amazing, amazing stuff coming up after this week in the Senior Bowl. Plus, so is Greg Gabriel and Danny Shimmons for their time at the East-West Shrine Bowl. The Barroom Network is doing a little bit of a change here. We have some fucking amazing content that's going to be coming up, and please stay tuned, set your notifications, like and subscribe, all that jazz, because what we have to offer here in the Barroom coming forth is going to be absolutely amazing. St. Omni, stop with the Z's. You can go to bed. Until next week, Nomad, do you have anything else to add to this before we leave?
Really quickly, I like to end the show on a positive note and something thoughtful. Really quick. You never know, and I'm talking to you, everybody. You never know what a person is going through in his personal life before they get on a live show. You might not have ever known that my pops, the only person, he's my grandfather technically, only person I ever known as a father figure, was airlifted from a local hospital to Christ Mercy in Oak Park because he's on an he's intubated and he's not doing good and it's not looking good. But make a long story short, I've been looking and hoping my phone didn't ring the whole show. And luckily it didn't. All I can do is pray for him. Can't be there with him right now, but I can pray for him. But this is the only father I ever knew in my life. My father was shit for a father. My grandfather was the father. So I call him Pops. And so, I had to clear all that out of my head to come in and do a show for you guys, man, to entertain you guys, make sure you guys got something good when you tune into this show. This is what you expect, and I hope we deliver tonight. So I'm not saying any of this to get pity. It's just what's happening in my life right now, and I hope you guys were entertained, and you guys did me more good than you probably know, just to have my mind off of shit for a little bit, at least. So I appreciate you guys, and peace and love to all y'all.
Same here. I mean, everyone out there in chat, we love you. Without you, this would not be possible. And we especially appreciate you sticking around here. There's been some good comments coming from people in chat about, us doing the show tonight without Aldo. And I know we all know that you love Aldo. We love Aldo. Aldo is the show. But Aldo does need some time off. Aldo is doing other things for the show. They're going to make this program even better moving forward. And we appreciate you and your support and your patience with this, because we are all together here at the Bar Room building something much better for the future that you're going to really enjoy. And this might be a little hiccup along the way that you'll eventually come back to and go, that was worth it. I'm glad they did that, because the Bar Room Network is so much better now. And that comes from, everyone that's being involved in this. You, myself, Dan, Tooch, Aldo, everyone on the Bar Room, Danny, Shimmons, Greg, Gabriel, Neil Stopchinski, everyone else that's involved in this channel. So make sure that you set your notifications for the Bar Room Network, like and subscribe, because there's a lot of awesome stuff that's coming out here in the future, and we don't want you to miss it, and you don't want to miss it either. So I guess with that, we should wrap this up, right, buddy?
Peace and love to everybody, man.
Peace and love to everybody. Go help somebody, man. Give somebody a hug. Help somebody hang a picture. Help somebody take down, if you're tall and need help opening something. Here you go. Give it, just whatever you can do to help someone out in this world, please apply yourself to do that, because it not only makes you a better person, but it makes them a better person for knowing you as well. So with that being said, we're going to kill this show. It's been great. Nomad, Tooch, everyone in chat, we love you guys. So we're going to end this on a 1, 2, 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Bears.
See you next time.
See you guys next week. Wherever the closer is at. Here we go.